For the past few years, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant, and Carl Pilkington have been meeting regularly for a series of pointless conversations. This is one of them.
Testing. Is that all right?
Hello and welcome to the Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And the little round-headed buffoon that is Carl Pilkington.
All right.
We do, of course, Rick, every week get thousands of emails. Emily from New York has asked Carl this. Carl, if you were on a sinking ship or you were in a burning building and you were with myself and Ricky, but you could only save one of us, I don't know why that's the case, but you can only save one of us, who would you save? Would it be Ricky or would it be me?
I think it's a two-man dinghy.
Right, okay.
Possibly. And we're trapped, and he knows that if he stays there to get both our legs out from under this thing...
the girder.
Yeah, he dies. So he's got room, he's got time to save one. It's obviously me.
It's hard to say, isn't it, at this point?
What, because Steve's in the room, you mean?
Well, no, just because we don't know what the situation is.
Okay, well, let's say we're on a sinking ship, all right? So you're going to have to rescue one of us, drag us into the dinghy.
It's going under. You know, in 30 seconds... Okay, this ship's going to go under and drag you down and you're going to die, right? And our legs are trapped and you've got enough time to untangle one set of legs. Whose legs do you untangle?
Now, just because my legs are long does not necessarily mean it's more complicated.
No, it's exactly the same amount of time. Just have to make a choice. A terrible choice that Steve would not, hate you for.
Well, no, listen.
He won't be around for long. He's going to drown in 30 seconds.
Well,
forget him.
Bear in mind this, Carl. You are going to be stuck in a dinghy with Ricky Gervais, and who knows how long that's going to take. Think of all the head squeezing that's going to be going on, the comments, the wind-up. And do you honestly think that he's going to, if there's any provisions, that he's going to split them evenly with you? I mean, he's going to have drunk all the water, and there's only going to be about half an hour in. The food's going to be gone. Look at his gut. Look how much, of the food he's going to have to eat, the baked beans that you've got on board. Whereas me, you know how generous I am. I'm always sort of helping you out.
Oh, there we go, Carl. I think he's put the nail in his own coffin there. You know how generous I am, Carl. Let's talk about that, Carl. Come on, think about that one.
Yeah, I mean, have you forgot about that, Steve?
What?
The time when we went for a coffee and we had to have a bit of a heated debate about the 50p change.
Yeah, you owed me 50p, and you decided you didn't want to give it to me because it was only 50p. And my point was, it's not a question of 50p, it's the fact that it's not your decision to decide not to give it to me. If I wanted to be generous, that's my decision. But you can't go, oh, it's only 50p, Steve.
It's my decision who
But you just given him a free keg of beer.
Yeah.
But that did not come to you, and you didn't pay for the free keg of beer. It was a promotional thing that was sent to you.
It's the same thing as the way I gave Suzanne my leaving present from my last job.
A lot of people may not be aware of this if they haven't heard us talking about it before. Yes, but you had a gift from your work as you were leaving after however many years of service, which you then gave straight to your girlfriend without telling her that it had been received from people at work.
Doesn't matter. She wanted a camera. It's the same thing as you. You wanted that lager that I got for free. It hasn't cost you anything. It doesn't matter where I got it from.
So you now decide, because you've given me a free crate of lager, that you can now say, oh, actually, I'm not, in the future, I'll just take your money, Steve, on a whim.
Well, listen, stop arguing like this. You're rocking the dinghy. Carl, have some of my cheese.
Imagine he would ever say that. Can you imagine him ever offering you any of his cheese?
Are you going to save Carl, mate?
I don't want to say.
Well, think about it and...
I might do a sort of a for and against or something, and then sort of, so the conclusion is...
Okay, all right. Well, I've been waiting for this for a week. It's a regular feature now. When we read from Carl's diary, Carl decided to keep a diary. He's gone through with it. I can see it there. It's massive. It's a huge desk diary that he has to carry around with him, and the pages are getting full up. You're really keeping to this.
Yeah.
Right, this is extracts from Carl's diary.
Did podcast and went for an Italian with Ricky and Steve. Italian place is good. We've been there a few times. I always have the same thing, spaghetti. Can't remember what everyone else had. Last time we went there, Steve had little octopuses with pasta. You could see that they were octopuses. They hadn't been cut up or anything. My rule is that I only eat stuff that looks nice when it's alive. A cow, a chicken, some fish. An octopus is an odd-looking thing alive. Even worse when it's dead and limp. It looks like it just shouldn't have been sat in the spaghetti.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Ricky drew another picture of my head. We've given a few of them away as prizes, but he draws so many of them that they won't be worth as much anymore. Everyone will eventually have one. Like those pictures of a boy crying that caused houses to burn down in the 1980s.
What does that mean?
What are you talking about?
It's just some kid. My auntie Nora had one, and it was just like a kid with like a blue jumper on, and it's like a painting, not a photo.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And he's just crying.
Like a chocolate box, it's really awful, sort of sugary.
And what happened is they found out that a load of houses were being set on fire or burst into flames, whatever. And the weird thing was,
Oh, it's bollocks.
every house that burnt down had that photo.
Yeah, because every house had that picture in the fucking 70s and 80s. Idiot. It's like, we're linking it to sinks. Every house that's ever burnt down had a sink. You're talking shit again. Carry on.
Wednesday. Saw a homeless bloke. I'm surprised that no companies have thought about sponsoring the homeless. Something like a clothing company. Give them some clothes that have an advert on the back. Everyone's a winner.
Good idea.
Not bad, is it?
Got on the tube to Camden. Read in a free newspaper that hedgehogs could be gone by 2025. I think I've seen more dead hedgehogs than alive ones anyway, so I don't think I'll miss them. Went round to Ricky's house and had a game of pool. It should have been nice and relaxing, but Jane gave me some cake, and Ricky said I can't play pool if my hands are all sticky from cake.
It was the sugar. And it wasn't that either. After he'd finished it, they weren't just sticky. He was licking his fingers, sucking his fingers off, and then was going to pick up pool cues and touch things. And I was thinking, go and wash your hands after licking your hands. You're not a cat.
This turned into an argument when I said I didn't want to wash my hands.
Why didn't he?
He goes for a piss all the time without washing his hands and then squeezes my head. I know I'd prefer to have lemon cake crumbs on my head than knob juice. Was going to do a crossword, but I'm tired and have learnt enough today.
What have you learned?
Well, the stuff about hedgehogs and that.
Oh, God.
Was on my way to my mates and I got on a train. Got close to a station but realised I needed a wee. Was about to go in a cubicle when a blind man with a dog who was bumbling his way through the walkway came around. I said, "Are you after the toilet?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "It's on your right." I shouldn't have let him go first as he took ages and it would be my stop soon. The dog waited outside the cubicle. I was going to stroke it, but then I remembered someone telling me that you shouldn't. Don't know
Why
why that
not?
is.
Because something to do with the owner should be the only one who sort of deals with that dog, and you shouldn't.
Well, you shouldn't stroke it because you'll cover it in fucking lemon cake.
No, but just because if you stroke it and that, it might like me and want to go off with me, and he'll come out and be lost and stuff.
Yeah.
A few people have sent this in, including Paul, the party animal Parker. For some reason, we've just assumed he's in school. I don't think there's any actual proof of that. But do you think...
I reckon he left in June, and he's doing sort of bits and pieces, but he's still not a party animal.
Do you think he can hold down a job? Is he just partying so hard that...
He can hold down a job. He often arrives late.
Sure.
And the boss, who's in an overall, go, "Parker, you're late again." He goes, "Yeah." Talks to the hand. Yeah.
I think that he's the sort of guy that he'll just happily say, "Listen, I survive on 4 hours sleep.
Yeah.
Sometimes I go to work, I've not slept at all."
But I think he comes in with his headphones blaring, right, on a skateboard, and the bloke goes up to him, the old bloke, right, the old fuddy-duddy bloke, goes, You stupid idiot, you can't work there." He goes, "Chill out, man." And in 2 minutes, he's got him dancing.
Oh, I know what he's like. Yeah, he is just like, you just can't resist it because he's just a fun guy.
Yeah.
Anyway, Paul and a few other people have sent in this piece of information they've discovered from one of the more respected news networks. The headline is this: female kidney turns lumberjack onto housework.
Right.
Now, a Croatian lumberjack apparently has claimed that he started enjoying housework and knitting after he was given a female kidney. He claims he's going to sue his local health authority because he says he's become a laughingstock. He used to enjoy heavy drinking sessions and things. The kidney transplant saved his life, but they never warned me about the side effects. I've developed a strange passion for female jobs, like ironing, sewing, washing dishes, sorting clothes in wardrobes, and even knitting.
Well, if he likes it, what's the problem? It's nonsense. It's nonsense. Hold on, though. What makes me laugh is he's become a laughingstock. So what do you do when you become a laughingstock? Tell the newspapers.
Well, yeah.
Tell the newspapers about it, because then that'd keep it completely under wraps. Then.
But it's the sort of medical nonsense that Carl would normally come out with.
Absolutely. You take on the personality of the person who gave you their blood.
Exactly. It's like those old horror stories, you get given a murderer's hand.
Yeah.
And you go around killing.
But there can be certain medical things that would change the way you think and would change you as a person. Say like how they can do face transplants now.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I don't quite understand how this face transplants work, because do you get a choice of who you have? If you have something done to your face and you go, it's burnt or whatever, or something happens to you and you need a face transplant.
Well, if you totally changed your appearance, then you would eventually change because of how people reacted to you.
Yeah, but
if you gave yourself the head of an elephant, soon you wouldn't be yourself because
I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have that. That's what I'm saying. If they had a catalogue and they said, here's some faces you can have, pick which one you want.
Yeah.
Would you be looked upon badly if you go, do you know what? I don't really like the look of any of them. Can I just wait for a better face? Or at this moment in time, have you just got to take what's on offer?
Carl, there's no one looking through catalogues at faces they might be able to have.
No, they do now because of the face transplant thing.
But who are these people putting their face up for? They wait till someone...
Yeah, I know, but at some point... Well, I tell you what, I would not have a face transplant if I haven't seen the face before I'm going to have it.
You had to...
I want to see what I'm having. Because I could end up with anything. You mentioned elephant's head. What do you know what I mean? Whose head are they going to use? Is it the latest thing that's died? Oh, well, this got run over before. Yeah, I'll stick this on your head.
But where has this come from? Where
From
are
his
these
mind.
people? Where are these faces queuing up to be popped on a skull? Where do you think they have got time to put all these...
Maybe this is why it won't catch on. I don't know.
This is extraordinary. You've created in your own head the existence of this pamphlet, and now you're defending it, even though we don't know it even exists.
And you're this skull on a hospital bed going, I'm not having that. I don't like the look of him. He looks a bit shifty. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, no.
Can I ask this now? Let's say we'd passed away sadly in something terribly tragic. The nation's mourned. It's terrible. It's like one of the great national disasters. But you, at the same time, you survived the accident, okay, but your face is hideously disfigured. You can take either Ricky's face or mine to have.
I'm surprised you're asking this, though, Steve. I mean, it's just, it doesn't seem like any of them is like a great option.
Oh, thanks.
And this is what I'm saying about the catalogue. If those two were on offer, I might go, do you know what? Pop in again tomorrow. Bring in another booklet.
This is from Anne-Marie. She says that she loves the podcast. She listens with her 7-month-old baby. That cannot be a good idea. And she says this to you, Carl. If you had children, what is the most important lesson you'd want to teach them?
I mean, in a way, if you sort of look after a kid too much, it doesn't learn that much. But if you let it learn by its mistakes, it'll probably grow up all right.
But there are some mistakes you can't afford it to make to learn from.
Yeah, driving a car the wrong way down a motorway.
Testing if the fire really is hot.
No, but say like the time...
Does broken glass really taste horrible? These are lessons you don't want it to learn from mistakes.
Yeah, you can tell them that.
Yeah,
but what I mean is there's certain things that... I just think there was a kid who grew up in our avenue, right, on the estate, who, when it was born, right, we kind of thought it's got no chance, this kid, because its man was a bit of a rumman.
A rumman? Where's that?
No, just like, she liked going out and having a fag and like having a drink, and she's never at home. It's the one who had the horse in the house.
Sure.
Right, which I don't want to go over.
Sure. It's old news.
It's out there, isn't it, if you want to find out about the horse in the house. But she had a kid, and everyone was pretty surprised when they saw it because it was a good-looking kid. She was surprised because, like, the man wasn't that good-looking, the dad was a bit rough. But it came out, and she was showing it around the avenue, going, look at this I've had. And she was chuffed with it because it's probably like one of the newest things she's ever had, because everything else was always sort of second hand and what have you. But suddenly she's got this brand new little baby, right? Anyway, as it grew up, right, those looks went.
Right.
And I'm not talking getting old, I'm talking by the age of about 3. It looked rough already, right? And all that just happened because that's the life it was in, right?
Yeah.
So like it had like a patchy head. Its hair.
It had a patchy head.
A patchy head. It's just sort of.
It wasn't a North American Indian. What do you mean, a patchy head?
Just his hair was patchy. He used to chase sort of cars and stuff.
It's cars. Sorry. What do you mean?
That's what he did for his.
Sorry, did she let it get raised by wolves?
No. But all I'm saying is that at the end of the day, what is it that makes a person? Do you know what I mean? Now, I don't know what state he's in now, but maybe he learned all his mistakes by the age of 4. I'm guessing he's not chasing cars now, but at least he's done it.
I'm guessing he is.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? At least you can go, yeah, I've been there, done that, and you don't go back to it. And you can get away with doing dafter things when you're a kid, can't you? I nearly killed a man once, right?
Okay, right. Did you?
That time when I was in Wales and I was having a walk with my dad on the cliffs and that, I just picked up a big rock, right? Chucked it off the edge, and as I chucked it off the edge, I noticed a fella was walking down below.
Jeez.
And I missed his head by, like, inches. Now, I've never chucked a rock off a bridge or, like, off a cliff or anything.
And it only took one man to almost lose his life for you to learn that lesson.
Yeah, but that's how you learn your lessons, isn't it?
See, a lot of people would have said that maybe your dad should have said, "Wait, Carl, what are you doing?"
No, but he didn't know I was doing it. I didn't say I'm going to chuck this off there. I just picked it up and chucked it. And, like, as I let go of it, I noticed a fella was down there. You live and you learn. That's a little mantra. Right?
All right.
You live
Okay.
and you learn. So the woman who's had the kid, sort of look after it, feed it, make sure it's got shoes and that, but let it roam about.
That's great.
There's the advice for you, Anne-Marie.
I love that.
Good luck. Just let your 7-month-old baby roam about. Carl, a lot of people are absolutely fascinated to find out how you met Suzanne, your girlfriend of how long?
Ages.
Yeah. And they can't comprehend how, well, I suppose that there's any woman out there.
Well, there's someone
Who
for
would-
everyone, isn't there?
Yeah.
That's always my thing. And it's reassuring, I think. You know, we've chatted about the face transplants and that. You know, there's a face for everyone.
Philosophy, innit?
Yeah.
I mean, it's really unbelievable.
No, there is someone for everyone, no matter what
Yeah.
condition you're in or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I read on the email, someone emailed in an old Chinese proverb. It's something about everything, no matter what it is, has got one talent. And that's the same way in a relationship, innit? That everyone, you know, there's always someone out there and that. I like the Chinese, there's another Chinese proverb that I learned on an email.
Go on.
He who cuts the wood up warms himself twice.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
Yeah.
And then someone sent in that one about too many Chinese cooks spoil the broth.
What? Well, why is? Well, that's. I don't know. I don't know who slipped the word Chinese in there, but I heard it was too many cooks.
Well, it was just all sort of Chinese proverbs and that.
One of my favourite on the same subject is a camel is a horse designed by committee.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, it's having a go at the camel, and it shouldn't. But it's just, you know, it's just a metaphor. And if you wanted to design a horse and you had that vision, but you let 12 people in the room have their say, it wouldn't come out as you wanted it to do, and it wouldn't be as good. A vision is more perfect than committee, because everyone having their say, it becomes anodyne, it becomes compromised. Whereas the best things you can do is have an idea and have a vision and auteur that.
Rick, can I just say now, I can tell from his look that he's thinking, which committee designed the camel?
Well, I'd say, why would you request the ump bit? Because that's just going to get in the way, isn't it? I mean, I've always said that about a lot of animals. It's like we've doubled up on a lot of them. We've chatted about elephants and mammoths, one or the other. And that's the same with a camel. I'd have that up there as what they're doing. They were good years ago in the Jesus times and that. Don't need them now. You know what I mean? We've moved on.
Well, not people who use camels to cross deserts.
What other? I'm
communities.
going to throw some animals at you, and you tell how you'd have improved them if you'd have been designing them. Okay? Mm-hmm. The octopus.
So I can now go back. I can look at them and go, what are they doing?
And where have they gone wrong? What's up with you? How could you improve it? Like the camel, you'd go lose the amp.
I'd probably give it a bit more of a body. Cut down on the arms. And give it some bones, because I don't understand all this. Getting in a jar is good. When does it want to get in a jar? It says...
Well, it only wants to get in a jar according to your stories.
No, but there's something that says it can get in a jar because it hasn't got any bones, but I don't know why it want to do that in the first place.
Easy.
I can't even begin to answer that. Once again, you've claimed that you've read that they like to get in jars. I mean, how do they know that octopus like to get in jars?
Oh, God, I love that you can improve on an octopus. Millions and millions of years of evolution, making it perfect for its surroundings. Okay, another animal for you then, Carl.
Giraffe?
What are they adding to the world? What are they doing?
Well, it's not about what they add to the world,
No, but
is
I thought that's what everything's about. It's about things are here for a reason.
The reason they're here is because they didn't die. That's it.
No, but there seem to be a lot of animals that are like.
Do you think there's a lot of cheating? Is that what you're saying? There's
I'm
a
just
lot
saying,
of
there just
doubling
seems
up.
to be a lot of doubling up.
Yeah. So
And-
you get it down to like 8 animals that represented all of them. Okay, who would get in your team? You can choose
No,
8 animals.
This is what I'm saying. If I was Noah, I would have gone like, hang on a minute. I've just seen something that looks a bit like this. Let it drown and have a clear out. But he didn't. He was messing about saving everything.
He was instructed by God to save everything, to be fair to him.
Yeah, but if he's been given that job, for me, he's sort of manager of that job. With management.
So you believe
With
Noah as well?
management.
You believe Noah happened as well, and he built a boat big enough to catch 2 of every species. You actually believe that as fact, do you?
Well, it's out there in book form.
Brilliant.
All right,
We haven't answered the question that we started with. How did you meet Suzanne?
just at work.
Thanks.
Oh, chimpanzee, that monkey, you!
There was this airline, and was having a lot of problems, and a lot
What,
of
pilot's too tall?
Yeah, the cabin was so tiny.
Only bananas were allowed in the cockpit for fuel.
Anyway, there was a lot of strikes going on, right?
Sure.
Because I don't know what it was about. It was over money or whatever.
Yes.
And
Well, get someone that doesn't need money.
but
Well,
But what else could you pay something in,
well,
Rick? I mean,
peanuts.
everyone would-
So-
okay, peanuts or fruit, yeah.
so anyway, the boss of the airline, he had like one pilot who he could trust, right? And that was his son.
Right.
But the problem is with a lot of these planes, you need 2 pilots.
Of course you do.
And he's like, if only I had 2 sons, but he didn't. There's no point harping on about it. Right?
Sure.
He runs an airline.
He runs an airline, yeah.
But how many pilots are there? Because there must be loads.
No, there's loads, but the problem is a lot of them are going on strike.
Oh.
And each week you can see that we're struggling here. We
But how
haven't
can
got
they
enough-
just close it down?
No
Anyway,
way, you can't do that,
no,
Rick.
I can't-
Of course you
It's
can't
costing
do
him a
that. It's just-
fortune if he closes it down.
Yeah, but one plane's not going to make a difference in an airline, is it?
No, it's all the
It's all
planes.
the planes, mate.
So the son, he's flying the planes and that. He's getting worried for his dad because of his business. It's falling
Sure.
apart. He's like, anyway, listen,
Well, one plane won't make any difference.
don't worry about it. We've found someone who you can work with. He said he's staying over near the sort of quarantine area where
Oh.
all the animals are kept
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff.
right, okay.
They won't be looking in there. They won't bother.
No.
So he's like, all right.
But there's no animal that could be a co-pilot, that's why.
I'll see you. He'll meet up with you in the cockpit. I'm like,
He'll be out in the cockpit, yeah, sure.
So anyway, he gets in there, he meets them. At first, a little bit of a shock who he's going to be working with, but
Why?
he's thinking, as long as I can keep my dad's business alive, I can
Not with
keep
one
a job.
plane.
Everyone's happy. Then one day, what happens is a little bit of a problem.
Oh, dear.
Well, what
Oh.
happened is one woman who was on the plane got a bit peckish, right?
Right.
And said to the air hostess woman, said, "I'm a little bit peckish. Have you got any sort of nibbles and that?" She went, "No, I got a sandwich." She said, "I don't really want a sandwich. You want something, like the usual stuff that planes give out, just like a bag of nuts or something."
bag of
What,
nuts,
are they not giving those out yet?
So no, they don't give it for some reason. She was like, "Look, we've stopped giving out the nuts. We can get you
That's
a sandwich."
strange,
And the woman was
yeah.
like, "I don't want a sandwich. I just want some nuts." Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
A sandwich is quite a big meal and what have you. I just want some nibbles, some nuts.
Well, that's not available.
So I
Done. End of story.
get- So she said, "Well, you're saying there aren't any nuts." She said, "But earlier I saw you put a tray outside the cockpit, right? It had a sandwich on it, 2 Cokes and 2 bags of nuts." She said, "So you're saying there aren't any, but the pilot's getting
Well,
them."
aren't they now? That was the last 2 packets. Done.
No. So
Let's go home.
Well, I'll go and have a word with the pilot myself because you only put them out there a few minutes ago. He can't have eaten
He
them yet.
can't.
I want
You
some.
you
I'm
cannot
going
go-
over.
no, no.
I know this is it. This
Yeah.
is. She was saying you cannot go over. She's going.
No.
Listen,
Yeah.
I'm going to go over because I feel like
you
I'm being
can't.
lied to.
No, you can't.
So she goes. Starts,
No,
and,
there's
and
no
the
way.
pilot can
Well, they
hear all
can't
this
get in anyway.
chat about the nuts and what have you, and he's thinking, what's going on out there?
Yeah.
He opens the door. right?
Yeah.
She gets a glance in. The monkey sat there with headphones.
Fucking bollocks.
For the past few years, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant, and Carl Pilkington have been meeting regularly for a series of pointless conversations. This is one of them.
Testing. Is that all right?
Hello and welcome to the Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And the little round-headed buffoon that is Carl Pilkington.
All right.
I wonder if we should have a jingle for questions for Carl, because there's a lot of questions coming in for Carl.
Okay.
Oh, chimpanzee, that question's for Carl.
Yeah, okay, no, fair enough, that works. This is from Jim and Bob in Manchester. Carl, if you could talk to any animal, which one would it be and what would you say to it?
Insect, animal, anything, fish, anything.
Well, they said animal, but let's broaden it to anything.
Animal,
any creature.
Insect is an animal.
Yeah, no, but I'm just, I don't want to get it wrong. I'm just thinking about.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff out there, isn't there? I'd probably go for the tortoise.
Okay.
Because it would take a long time to walk away from you while you were talking.
No, just because
Most animals would be off straight away.
Yeah.
just because they live for ages, so they'll have loads of stories. They've lived through a lot. You know what I mean? Through wars and stuff. If you get an
Well,
old one, if you get like an old one, that's about 100
Most of them have
something.
lived in a box in a garden for 52 years.
No, but you get some that have been about, and even if it's in a box, you can overhear.
They've really travelled, have they?
Yeah.
I mean,
Some of them have experienced more than you.
Yeah.
But they've broadened their horizons a bit more than you. They could probably teach you a thing or two, yeah.
And what would you hope to learn from them?
just history.
Right. From their very specific tortoise perspective. Other emails. We've had a lot of questions about time travel. People are fascinated about your approach to time travel. And I know we've talked about this in the past, but this is a very specific time travel question. If you had a time machine, Carl, to what event in your childhood would you travel back to and why?
What's the point in going back to things that you thought? No, it's just that it's never as good, is it? It's like a place you go on holiday and you go back thinking it'll be as good as the first time. It never is. So I don't believe in going back to places.
What
and all
do you understand the question as? Do you think they're asking, would you go back like a ghost and spy? Would you go back and you've got your childhood back? You are that child again. You're in the body. You are the child, or you've got your adult head and experiences. On, you
Rick, I really don't think Carl was thinking there was any of those variations. Let's be honest. But now that you've flagged them
I
up,
think he was thinking of him as he is now in school with a cap on.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Too big
6
for the
foot.
chairs.
yeah. Come on.
No, I don't think I would go back. It's all happened now, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's an email for our own amusement.
Well, okay. Well,
choose an event. Okay, forget the time travel thing.
No, hang on. I think let's clarify one of Ricky's points. What if you could go back and you could live that moment again? How would you do it differently?
There's been times where I've gone, oh, that was a bit out of order or whatever. But then you learn from your mistakes, don't you? So I don't want to go back and change stuff because it's like that thing that they go on about, innit, where they blame the butterfly on an earthquake. It's going to happen. If it wasn't that butterfly, it's another one. So why pass the buck is what I'm saying.
So you've got no regrets. There's nothing in your past you'd want to change or do differently?
What about if you went back and you spied like a ghost on something? You couldn't change anything, but you could have a look at someone and just sort of look like
what?
like Ebenezer Scrooge does at the Ghost of Christmas Past. He goes back and he's sort of like looking at himself dancing and stuff. What would you do? What would you go back and have a look at?
Yeah, but you're asking me to change. I don't want to change.
Yes,
it.
You're not
no,
changing,
you
you're
don't
just
change
observing.
anything. It's impossible.
All right, I tell
this
you what.
question, this is it's not going to happen. You're not going to have to do this. It's impossible.
Right, yeah, I nearly died once, didn't I, on an ice pop.
Right.
Right? Now, maybe if I would have died, I'd say, well, let's go back to that, and I won't have an ice pop.
You wouldn't be doing the podcast if you'd have died. You wouldn't be having this email put to you. What are you
That's
talking
absurd.
about?
You're now saying you're rewriting history and then going back to change it.
Yeah.
There's no need. You didn't die.
And we've changed it. You can't change anything. You're just going to go back and watch them. Would you like to go back and watch yourself choking on a Mr. Freeze?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I wouldn't go back now, because I'm all right. I haven't had one since. I've learnt a lesson. I'm not missing them ice pops. So
I don't think you're making the most of this opportunity to fantasise.
I don't see the point in going back in anything. I mean, do you mean go back in time to the point of you can see, like, Rome in its working day?
What, in your childhood? Was Rome about when in your childhood? Were there gladiators
Well,
in your
that's what I'm
childhood?
saying. Everything I've been through. So why see it again?
Forget it. It was just a nice little question.
I mean, that shows the lack of imagination
Right,
in Carl
all right.
Pilkington.
Can
Your
I-
mind can't
all
fathom
right,
something unless it's like, got two heads.
But I don't see the point in doing something twice. Because the thing is, say if there's one good moment when I was about 6 that I loved, I'd then have to go through all the other 20 years again.
Well, why? Why have you imposed that? This is a fantasy. Make it up.
You could
Just
go
say-
back and come back
Yeah,
again.
whiz back and fast forward 35 years.
Nah.
Brilliant. No. Like it was on offer. Like this was really on offer. Move on.
Migrant workers in South China are wearing adult diapers on packed trains heading home for the New Year holiday because they've got no access to the toilet. Many supermarkets in this particular part of China have reported a 50% increase in sales of adult nappies for the train trips. Now, what do you make of that, Carl? You're on a long, long train journey, 3 hours, 4 hours.
You know there's no toilet. You know you're going to need to go. Pop on a...
Why isn't there any toilets?
They just aren't on the trains.
And they're a really long journey.
Yeah.
How long?
Hours.
Well, very long in China. It's a big country.
I wouldn't. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it. I'd have to hold it in or something. Just like, I mean, when I was a young kid, I don't know how young you are when you wear a nappy and that, but I remember that I didn't like it doing it in a pair of pants like that, a pair of nappies and that. And I used to have to, even when I was too small to sort of get up on the toilet and that, because you'd fall in. My mum knew that I didn't like nappies and that. I used to just go in the corner, just near the kitchen, in this thing that, like a litter tray. And I'd go there, and I'd do my thing. And, my mum used to say, oh, he's going there, don't look at him and that, because it put me off. Like cats don't like being watched when they do it.
When they go in their little tray in the kitchen.
No, they don't. They don't like it. I tested it again.
What are you, just like a little feral kid, just running around and going to the litter tray, covering it up, and then running up the curtain and eating a sweet at the top of the pelmet?
No, but nobody likes being watched, and that's what I'm saying. If you're sat on a train and you're knocking one out and that, and everyone's looking at you, I don't think it'll catch on.
Well, it has caught on.
Has it
They're all
caught
doing
on,
it. They're just sitting there. They're doing, they're reading the paper, doing Sudoku, and they're looking around when they're going. They're thinking, oh, no one knows I'm going. And everyone's thinking that, and everyone's going.
I mean, what are we getting to? You know what I mean? What's going on in the world that this is happening?
I know.
I mean, people have always had to travel for ages. I just don't understand why there isn't a toilet on it. We're going backwards. We're going backwards, aren't we? Why isn't there a toilet on it?
Well, maybe there is, but maybe people are thinking the queue is going to take forever. If you've got 125 million people
Yeah, but
going
not
back.
everybody wants to go at once. I mean, I know Chinese and all that are like at the forefront of everything that goes on in the world, inventing stuff first, but this isn't one of the best that they've come up with.
What have they invented then? The Chinese just
Loads of stuff, haven't they? They've
Yeah,
done
well,
loads
I
of stuff.
was going to ask you. You seem quite educated on the subject. But...
They did them cat mop things that I told you about.
Brilliant. I mean,
This was where you put mops on the feet of cats, was that right?
Yeah. And they
Brilliant.
wander about the house, clean up and that, wash the floor for you whilst they're pottering about. They've done like hats with umbrellas on them. I mean, they're known for like coming up with stuff first.
Yeah, I mean, my first thought was gunpowder, but yeah, cats with mops is good as well. Well, now to one of our most popular features. I mean, this could even rival monkey news one day. It is monkey news. It's news from the point of view of a monkey, a shaved monkey. It's Carl Pilkington's diary.
Oh, he's written it down, yeah.
Was that the jingle, or were you just
Well, yeah,
just
sort
annoyed
of,
about
sort
something? Okay. Went and did the podcast. We had a meeting after. I don't like meetings as I can't keep focused on what people are talking about. I think Ricky has the same problem as after 25 minutes he was trying to wrestle me. I tried to do what spiders do and stayed still as if I was dead. But Ricky just stayed on top of me, not moving. A bit like when you see one of them big snakes swallowing a sheep. Ricky got bored and released me. I went home thinking, why had I left my old job for this? A homeless man asked me for some money, but I didn't feel like I should treat him as I felt that he'd probably had a better day than me.
Oh, God.
Suzanne called me to say she'd gone for a haircut and that she'd meet me in the supermarket. I went to the supermarket, but she wasn't there. I called her and she said she was near the fruit aisle. I went to the fruit aisle and she wasn't there. Turns out she was in a different supermarket on the other side of town. And that if I'd listened to her properly, I'd have known that. I didn't want to say that
What, you just went to the first supermarket you thought of, as opposed to listening to what supermarket? I'm in the supermarket. All right, bye.
I didn't want to say that I hadn't heard her properly because my ears were ringing a bit from the wrestling from earlier. 25 minutes later, I met up with Suzanne. Her haircut wasn't that bad. Normally, her haircuts are followed by an argument between us as she pays over the odds for some daft haircut that's the latest style.
Brilliant.
I wish she'd take a picture out of a magazine or ask for a style rather than letting the hairdresser do what she wants. I said I only tell her to do this as she's got a square head and a close-cut hairdo makes it look squarer. She said, "What do you think of this cut?" I said it looked all right, as I couldn't be bothered arguing about it. It's weird writing a diary. I don't know who thought of doing one of these first. The last time I did one was at school. They used to get you to do it so they could keep an eye on whatever you were up to. My diary used to say the same thing every night. Got home, went to the shop to get potatoes, bread, milk. Went home, watched telly, went to bed. I think I might have gone to Twiggy's Dance Club just so I had something different to write. You've not told us about Twiggy's Dance Club.
It's just, you know, I sort of, when I was a kid, I sort of gave everything a bit of a go. I did boxing and that, didn't I? Gave that a go.
For about 45 minutes.
And yeah, a mate sort of said, "Oh, you know, you're into your dancing, your robotics and that. You're doing your body popping, right? Body popping and that." He said, "You ought to come to Twiggy's," and I went there, but I didn't go in. It was shut. They were just having like loads of toilet rolls delivered. I think like they were like using it as a storage place for toilet rolls and that. So I said, "Oh, I've come to have a dance," and like, "Oh, not tonight. Come back tomorrow." I never went back.
Brilliant. Next. What a waste of an anecdote. Right. Brilliant.
Just to recap, you're convinced then that the teachers are asking you to keep diaries so they can keep tabs on you. And then to continue the diary, as there were more problems happening on the estate, they started to add Saturday and Sundays to the school diary to keep an eye on what we were doing at the weekend. I struggled to fill it on a Sunday as the shop I got potatoes and bread from was shut on a Sunday. I had to go over to Shepherd's Bush to meet someone. I got the tube. There was a badly burnt man on the tube. It's amazing how the body can continue through quite a lot of bad stuff. It got me thinking about how much stuff you could remove in your body, one by one, without dying. If it was a competition, the cockroach would win, as it can live for a week without a head.
I just mean like, say if, you know, they're running out of ideas for TV programmes and that, right? They get someone who isn't well. They go, "Look, do you mind if we make a programme on you?" And what they do, they sit them in the bed and they go, "Right, what we're going to do now is take out the heart but replace it with a pacemaker." Right,
No. Sorry. People with pacemakers don't have their heart taken out and a pacemaker popped in.
All right then. Some sort of machine. What I'm getting to is...
Have you been playing Operation?
What I mean is the big finale would just be a head chatting with loads of wires going into it, and it's like, look what we can do with science.
That's what the programme's called. It ends the same every week. The volunteer is just a head with loads of wires coming out
Look
of it.
what we can do with science.
And he's going,
"Goodbye."
"Oh, I feel ill."
Got some post delivered to me today. It was... Oh, this is
This
great.
makes it in the diary.
Got some post delivered to me today. It was addressed to Mr. Dilkington.
I don't know why that's so funny. Oh, God.
I got some post delivered to me today. It was addressed to Mr. Dilkington. I opened it and the first sentence read, "Dear Mr. K. Dilkington, you're one of our most valuable customers." I put it in the bin. Thought I would learn some new words, as Steve always says I don't use enough different words. I read in the Fortean Times that the word "wew" means an ugly female ghost with drooping breasts.
What do you mean?
Is that how am I pronouncing
Who's
that right?
using that word? Who is
woo.
using that word?
It was just WEWE.
Let's call it a woo. An ugly female ghost with drooping breasts. I think I'm right when I say there are too many words in the world. I don't think I will ever get round to using the word woo. Watched a health programme. Wasn't watching it properly, but heard some doctors say that we only get so many heartbeats in a lifetime, so don't do too much exercise. I told Suzanne, and she said I probably hadn't heard it right. We got talking about death. Suzanne said she didn't like thinking about it. I said she might end up being a woo. I was chuffed as I'd managed to use my new word. I went to the supermarket to get tonight's tea. On the way, I stopped and looked in the fishmongers at all the different fish they had in the window. It's like a child in one of those kids' TV shows.
I know.
Mr. Pilkington went to the fishmonger. He stopped and looked at all the fish in the window.
Hello, Mr. Dilkington, they said.
There was a newspaper clipping stuck on the glass about a two-headed fish that they've made in Taiwan. I don't see the point in doing this, as a fish having two heads ain't going to solve the world's hunger problems, as the head is the bit you throw away. Invent a fish with two bodies, and I'd say well done.
Good point, isn't it?
Suzanne watched one of her favourite TV programmes. I've told her the telly only goes on if there's something she wants to watch. If there's nothing on, she has to talk to me about stuff I've learnt. Like Descartes. Watched a programme on him the other day. He is the one who said something like, I know I'm about 'cause I dream. Doesn't work for everything 'cause ants don't sleep. I don't know if I'd like that or not. You don't know if you would like it if you didn't ever
Not
sleep.
sleeping. It's just one long day. I don't know. Don't know how you put up with that. Do you think it'd be a good idea?
No.
Why not?
Because, as you said, it would get a bit boring. You know, your sleep is your rest, your time off. It helps you detoxify. It helps you sort of think things through on a subconscious level.
But don't you ever get it where, I mean, sometimes it's brilliant to have a sleep when you're tired, but don't you sometimes feel
that's
like...
the best time to have a sleep, when you're tired.
No,
yeah.
but sometimes when you go to bed and you're not that tired and you're kind of thinking, oh, I'm going to waste some hours of my life now and I'm not really in the mood for this.
Well, that's
sleeping.
just wishing you had longer on this earth doing creative things. I mean, if you didn't have to sleep, you could spend more time talking to a tortoise and going to the toffee shop.
Well, it's that time again. If you'd give us the jingle, please.
Oh, chimpanzee dive.
Okay, now that surely cannot be fair on anyone's ears listening.
Right. Ages ago, right, about the 1950s,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
there was this gangster knocking about. And do you know, like,
Was he called Hairy Fingers?
a lot of gangsters like to get into gambling and that?
Yeah, yeah.
And you know, like all his peers and that, all these mates who are like gangsters and stuff, they've all bought horses, right? That they take racing and they make money from them and that, don't they?
Yeah.
So anyway, he
And
was
Chuckles the Seagull was no different.
and he was like, yeah, that's a good thing to get into. I might get into a bit of that, right? So he gets himself this horse, right? And there's a big race coming up. That's why he's a bit of a last minute.
And the jockey turns up and it's fine. He's a human jockey and it's fine. Excellent. Okay, well, that was another podcast.
So anyway,
please listen.
Oh, hang on,
next.
there's more.
Oh, go
hang
on.
on. So anyway, this big race is coming up. He's like, I've got to be involved in this
Yeah,
because I
definitely.
can make a lot of money out of my horse here.
Choose the jockey wisely, then.
So he says to his mate, he said, look, I've got myself a horse and that. He said, we just need a jockey, get someone, sort it out and what have you, so we can get in this race.
Go to the jockey club.
His mate's like, yeah, all right, I'll have a word and that, have a look round and that, see if there's anyone decent.
And the
knocking out
good thing about jockeys is there's never been a shortage of jockeys because a lot of them don't make the grade. So there's always too many jockeys to go round.
Always too many human jockeys.
Yeah, there's never a problem getting jockeys.
Fine.
Go on.
So anyway, right, so his mate says, look, I'm having a problem getting a jockey.
Seems odd because
this
Ricky's
is
just
weird.
been saying.
I don't know.
He's just been saying there's not a problem.
What do you mean? So
Just because the main problem was
Go on.
a lot of jockeys were aware of this gangster and were saying, I'm not getting involved with this guy. The chances are I won't get paid, you know, he's a gangster, it's not
No,
worth
you
it.
would do it if it was a gangster asking you. You'd be scared of the consequences.
So anyway, he's saying, look, don't be coming to me with problems and that, right? I've got the horse, I want it in the race, sort it out. So they're like, oh, but boss, and he's like, don't give me any of that. Go and
exactly,
sort it out.
they do what he says. So any jockey would do it. Go on.
So anyway, so the day before,
The big race, yeah. Left it to the last minute, okay, but
Yeah.
fine.
and he says, have you got a jockey then? They're like, yeah, but, and he's going, don't worry about it, have you got a jockey? Yeah, but, and he's like, well, look.
He wants
what-
to say, sure. Yeah.
So
they were like,
he's saying, has he ridden the horses before and that? He said, well, yeah, he has, but mainly, and he's like brilliant. And he goes, yeah, but mainly in like a circus.
in the jung.
No, like in the circus and that. He'd worked with horses and stuff.
In the
apparently.
circus.
It's fine.
So he's like, that's enough. That's all I need to know.
Well, they'd be too heavy because circus people
so-
are quite built, aren't they? They're
He said
a bit
so-
heavier than the jockey because the jockeys are about 8.5 stone.
He said, brilliant. Get him down there and that, right? Anyway, the race happens.
He didn't want to meet him beforehand. He wasn't worried
No
about
point. Not
No,
bothered.
no.
As far as he's concerned,
It's all
he's
sorted.
putting his money on it and what have you.
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
What happened is they were trying to make him put on the jockey outfit,
Yeah.
but for some reason it didn't fit that well.
Sleeves
And that-
too
it was-
short,
it was
legs too long.
It's that sort of problem.
Okay.
So they let him, like, wear his stuff that he wore in the circus and that, because it's comfortable with that. He's happy with it. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
of
That's what
course,
he's
yeah,
happy
let
with.
him-
Anyway, race starts and what have you. This horse straight out of the trap and that, high speed, right? This jockey's got a really big grin on his face. He's loving it, right? Everyone's cheering, going, "Who's this? Who's this jockey?"
Yeah.
It's amazing. Never seen him before, and yet look at him.
But they can see his face clearly.
Anyway, Gangster's happy in that because he's won.
But I just want to say the crowd can see the jockey, can they?
What?
The crowd can. I mean, it's
Yeah, but
face
he's
not-
so fast and what have
The
you.
blur, it's a blur. It's all a blur.
He's good at it. I mean, apparently he was
Right.
close to falling off, and people were like, he's gone, he's a goner.
Right.
He's got such a good reach that he managed to grab hold of
Oh,
the...
sure.
Good reach. Oh.
At the end of it, like the winner sort of rides around the crowd bit,
Yeah.
to sort of, show off and what have you.
Yeah.
And all the women are there, and like women are all dolled up at these events.
Sure.
They've all got big hats on.
Sometimes they got fruit on those hats.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Right.
And one of the women,
In
one
the
of the
50s,
women,
particularly, Carmen Miranda was very popular.
Yeah.
one of the women had like you say, fruit and what have you on it,
Yeah.
a little banana.
Right. Some kind of
They're
Cuban
not real.
woman.
They're not real though. The hats. They're
It's not real fruit, is it?
No, of
Yeah.
course not. Never.
So
But I don't know
Really,
who. I thought they wore those sort of kind of Cuban
Yeah, but
entertainment
even,
shows. I didn't
even
realise
if
they wore them
yeah,
at
but
events.
even if it's like a big event, you might have a hat with fruit, and it's sort of joke, but it's fake fruit because it would
Yeah.
perish. It
well,
would.
this
but-
this jockey didn't understand that. He'd never seen false fruit.
I don't understand.
But why did the jockey? So why was he so desperate for fruit? I don't understand.
So anyway, meanwhile, the Gangster's collecting his 500 quid winnings. Right?
Yeah.
He's over the moon.
Yeah.
He kicks off because of this woman with the fruit.
Yeah, I don't understand. I still don't understand
don't
why the
understand.
jockey would go.
Everyone noticed. Jockey, little monkey fella.
Oh, that makes sense. If he was a monkey, that would make sense.
Yeah.
What year was this? Because I want to.
It was 1950s, and that's where the saying comes from about, like in Cockney slang, 500 quid is a monkey. He sort of put, he put a monkey on it, and it all goes back to the time when.
So this happened in England.
in this country, yeah,
It
in the
happened in England. So
1950s.
someone could well still be alive that we could easily
yeah.
contact. That
Well,
would
that's it.
confirm
We
that,
always,
'cause they were at the
there's no
event.
time length on this monkey news. If you've got any, if it's history, if it goes back,
Or if it's
years
made
ago,
up, bullshit.
just send it in.
If it's
to,
bollocks,
If you've got
send
any
it in.
bollocks
If it's
that
absolute
you wanna
bollocks,
send in.
please send it in.
That's this week's monkey news.
For the past few years, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant, and Carl Pilkington have been meeting regularly for a series of pointless conversations. This is one of them.
Testing. Is that all right?
Hello and welcome to the Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And the little round-headed buffoon that is Carl Pilkington.
All right.
Of course, as ever, lots of questions for Carl as well, just to sort of try and tap into his brain, see what's going on there. Question from Jade. Carl, what would you change if you were in charge of what kids are taught in school? Right, you know, because, I mean, your school experience was a bit iffy. You got very bored, didn't you? You got very disillusioned by school.
Yeah. What I'd do, right, is instead of sort of teaching kids about 2 and 2 and that, which is 4, right?
Well done.
Show off.
I think they should be asked more questions that make them think rather than something that has just got an answer,
I totally agree.
right? So,
Teaching them the quest for knowledge, inflaming their
but
imagination.
just freaking them out a bit as well, just going like...
See, I knew that's where it was going. Because as soon as you started talking, Rick, I was thinking you're thinking some of the big existential or philosophical questions. You know, does it mean to be human? What does it mean to interact with other humans? To be a human.
Or teaching them sort of like philosophy on a basic level, that, you know, teaching them the love for learning. So, you know, get them back to a roots level so they want to learn and then they will learn, as opposed to just teaching them facts.
Whereas...
But he was thinking, freak them out a bit.
Yeah.
No, just like, you know, like I read the other day, and someone sent it in on email, like how there's a dishwasher that's been found on Mars.
Rubbish.
Whoa, what?
But it's not true.
So tell them that.
But it's not true.
Go home and write about it. How did that happen?
But it didn't happen.
Well, it did happen. It was in a science magazine.
No, it didn't happen. There's not a dishwasher on Mars.
Why not?
Because...
What do you mean, why not?
How did it get there?
But we're always sending like rubbish out there and that. It's like...
Not dishwashers. What, you think the council take it away and they go, where can we put it? Well, the tip's full. Well, where's the nearest thing we can dump this? Mars, I imagine.
No, but the same way that fella who, I don't know, was it 2 Christmases ago when he was messing about saying I can get stuff to Mars and all that, he did it wrong because he did it on like Boxing Day, and I just think nobody's concentrating. No one wants to work on that day. It's kind of like, do you know what I mean? They're going to do stuff sort of half-arsed, aren't they, on Boxing Day? So it didn't really get there, I don't think, but it crash-landed.
What are you talking about? What was he trying to do?
He was sending something up to Mars.
Yeah, that little fella that wanted to get something on Mars, and it got,
globe, you mean?
And it didn't open properly.
Yeah.
It got there, didn't open.
But the thing is, it got there, it didn't open properly. No one's been back to pick it up. And what I'm saying is, we're saying about going to Mars as our next planet. It's a tip. There's loads of stuff that's been flirted up there.
No, it's not.
It's just all like that probe thing is still there, rotting away.
Yeah. So ipso facto, there is a dishwasher on Mars. We've settled that. Why would they have a dishwasher on Mars? Would they take the dishwasher up in the space shuttle in case they had dinner parties? What are you talking about?
I just think they would have a little dishwasher in there. There's a lot of them, tight space. You don't want to, but who's going to do that? You know, that means...
Do you know how much fuel it takes to move a kilogram
Yeah.
out of the Earth's atmosphere? So they're going to take up a dishwasher, are they?
Sorry, but what are they cooking up there, Carl?
How many people does it take to fly a rocket?
I...
How many people? Tell me how many people.
Well, it's either one monkey with a banana shoot that feeds it, or probably 2 or 3 humans.
Right, say it's 3 humans.
Yeah.
Now, there's 3 humans because they need one to steer it.
One to stop at the petrol station to get more...
What I'm saying is, if you're going to start having a sink, then whoever's
They
washing
haven't got
up...
a sink.
I know, because they've got a dishwasher.
He's got you there.
But anyway, I'm not going to go into that. But all I'm saying is teach kids things about... Say to them, right, when you go home tonight, there was dinosaurs knocking about ages ago. How would you have lived with them? Get on with it. See you later.
Well, they didn't. I've told you this before. You got a lot of your information from the Flintstones and 1 million years BC with Raquel Welch. There weren't dinosaurs knocking around where there were little fellas knocking around in furry pants.
No, but just sort of saying to them, all right, then, here's a different question.
Go on then.
Would it be better to have dinosaurs knocking about now whilst we're here? Because I put that in my diary the other day, that when you think about it, there's a population problem.
Yeah.
There's too many of us.
Yeah.
We're saving people all the time. No one's allowed to get injured anymore. You've got to, wear a helmet when you're on a bike. There's speed bumps to slow people down. Zebra crossing. Cures for illnesses. No one's dying anymore, right?
Well, I think they are.
Not as many as they should be, because the world's crowded. All I'm saying is
I think there's still people dying. I think there's still people dying.
not that many, though.
Yeah, I think there's still millions of people dying.
Apparently, a handful.
Loads of people are living longer. And that's a problem.
So
what
you
I'm saying
feel that
is,
you should introduce Tyrannosaurus Rex into, say, London, just have him wandering around, just picking people off.
That's what. Just sort of random and that. Because I don't know. I mean, I'm not wishing that anyone I know dies and that. But all I'm saying is, I don't know anyone who's died for ages.
Right.
Whereas if a dinosaur was knocking about, you'd go, Neil's gone missing.
Yeah.
And
Annie Nora's had her head bitten off by a...
Whatever. I just think then it is survival of the fittest, which is, we've lost all that now. you don't even have to be fit to survive. They just keep sticking a new lung on you. Or, do you know what I mean? They can do too much now to keep people going.
just keep sticking a new lung on you.
Question from Kevin. He says, Carl, other than the famous boxing match that you've often talked about, I know that took up about 20 minutes of your time, have you ever been in any other kind of fight? I don't suppose a slanging match. I think they're talking, have you ever been in a physical fight?
Once that I can remember. It was over a woman. Well, a girl. I was at school.
Yeah.
And it was because, like, it's hassle, innit? Right, relationships when you're younger.
How old were you?
About 7.
It was over a woman.
Go on then. Yeah, go on.
And there was this girl knocking about who, you know, she was quite good looking, everybody liked. And my mate, he really liked her. And I didn't sort of ask her out on that, but she just sort of took a shine to me and stuff. Right? And didn't really go out with her properly. It's at that age where going out with someone is just like sort of going, all right, in the morning. Do you know what I mean? You just sort of nod your head.
Yeah.
And that. Anyway, there was some sort of school disco. And they were playing Spin the Bottle or something. Right? And I sort of wandered over to see what was going on. And I stood on this girl's dress and put a hole in it. And she started crying. I was like, oh, I can't be doing with this. Right? You know, what's up with you? It's a hole, what's up with you? And everyone's going, Carl, what are you doing? That's meant to be your girlfriend and that. You should be sort of saying, oh, I'm sorry, and giving her a hug and all that, and saying it'll be all right, we'll sort the dress out. I said, oh, I can't be dealing with this. Right? So she's crying her eyes out. I said, it's over. Right?
Oh, it's over, you saying, all right, in the morning. Yeah.
No more of that.
Yeah, there's no more. Right. In the morning.
So I go to the toilet, right? And this lad who fancies her comes in and goes, you're out of order, you know. I'm saying, what are you on about?
Sorry, there's 2 7-year-olds. Yeah, you're out of order. Keep out.
Yeah. Cut it out. Show her a bit of bloody respect.
Sorry, were you wearing trilbies?
Yeah. He put his cigarette out in the sink and he just said, leave it.
Get out of my face.
So I just sort of said, look, why are you getting involved and all that?
Yeah.
2 7-year-olds. Why are you getting involved?
And it was obviously like because, you know, he fancied her and that. We had a bit of a fight in there.
Yeah.
I accidentally, you know, sort of chipped his tooth on a sink. Right?
Wow, is it like a proper...
Sorry, this is like someone from Lock, Stock and 2 Smoking Barrels.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? 2 7-year-olds in a toilet.
So you put a hole in her dress. I don't know how that... What were you wearing, football boots? How did you make a hole in her dress?
I don't know. It was like that sort of material.
You were
like,
wearing winkle pickers.
like crepe. You know what I mean? It was like a crepe dress or something.
Yeah.
Right.
And that got a hole in it.
So you're having and when you say you're having a fight, I mean, are you wrestling with it? You got arm locks
a
and
little bit
headlocks?
of wrestling and shoving about and that. And it was an accident. I didn't sort of go, right, I'm going to break your teeth or anything. It's just that I happened to push his head down and his tooth hit the sink.
Right.
And it chipped and what have you. After that, like, I sort of left there and stuff. And we had to go into assembly. And there was a copper in there doing some presentation saying, listen, kids, you know, don't get into trouble because we're out there and we'll get you. Right, so sort of trying to teach the kids young not to get into any trouble and stuff. So I'm sat in the assembly room thinking, oh, God, there's a copper here talking. And like my mate's going to come in a minute, like with a chipped tooth and everything. And
Questions are going to get asked.
that's what kind of happened. I mean, the coppers didn't get involved.
Yeah.
Did you turn your back on violence after that then?
Yeah. He said you'll never take me alive, copper.
So yeah, that was the sort of last fight.
Brilliant.
Some of the questions coming in now, Rick, are just, I don't know what they're intending, what response they're hoping for, really. This is one from Rob. He just says, I was just wondering, what are Carl's views on the human appendix?
What do you think, Carl? What do you think of the human appendix?
Never worried about it.
Well, no, I think Rob's point is that it's sort of pretty redundant now.
So this is kind of what we've talked about before, where...
He always says that. He always says something like, "Oh, we've talked about this before," and the thing that he's talked about is nothing like it.
What I mean is, we've obviously interfered somewhere along the way, and
Well,
we
we
shouldn't
have
done.
interfered,
Well,
yeah.
we shouldn't have done because it's the same way. Like, if we didn't have planes and that, would we have wings now? If we'd have needed to get about, would we have had wings?
No, the answer's no. Next.
No, but you say that, but look at the way.
Because he's right, he says it because he's right.
No, but all I'm saying is, you see that little picture of like an ape to man.
Yeah.
At first, they're crawling about on all fours because probably you're looking for food, so you want to be down there. So
Right.
if you're on both legs,
Yeah.
you're missing stuff that's on the floor.
What sort of time period do you think this? Because I mean, we started, dabbling with a plane maybe 100 years ago. So what sort of time period do you think this little thing who's scrabbling around looking for food stood up and
I don't
walked?
know. I sort of don't worry about time. Sort
Right.
of
Well, I'll
behind-
tell you now, we
behind
wouldn't have
Rome.
wings now. If the Wright brothers had said, "Oh, forget it," we wouldn't have wings now.
What would happen? Right, here's another question. This is one that I'd chuck out to kids as well. We were talking about education, teaching kids stuff.
Sure.
What would happen, right? We ruin this world, right? Goes wrong and that, right? They shut it down. They go, we're moving. We go to another planet.
It's as simple as that in
Yeah.
his world. It's as simple as that.
We can't go to Mars because it's full of stuff that used to be in Dixon's.
It's like a tip.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. So we can't go there. We go somewhere else.
Something that I've always wondered about, if we do that, do we start New Year's or do we carry on? What do you know what I mean? Do we say, oh, it's still 2006? Or do we go, it's world new, whatever, new world.
That is definitely the first priority.
It's year one. Right, we've sorted that out. Right, now,
Well, it depends, doesn't it?
once
Because a year might not be the same on this planet.
we'd sort that out, right? We'd sort out what year it is and that.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, we'd have to start again anyway because the planet might not take 1 year as we know it to go around the sun. It might not take a day to turn. A day is a day because that's how long it takes. For
Yeah, but we'd have to carry on as we know because we don't want to start doing longer days and that. Otherwise, they'll just kick off and say, "This is rubbish. This new world. What are you doing?"
No,
I'm doing a 28-hour day.
We wouldn't have a choice. A day is how long it takes
No.
the planet to
But
to turn, and a year is how long it takes that planet to go around the sun
but
once.
a day is man-made, really. There's places in the world where they're working in the dark, isn't there, in Iceland and that? But they don't go, well, it's dark all the time, so I'll stay in bed.
Well, no, but there's still a day. It's still 24 hours in a day in Iceland.
Yeah, but we only work by that clock because that's what people use at the moment when they go, what time is it? You go, it's 20 past 11.
No. We use that because that's how long it takes the planet we're on to
I've
turn.
never worried about it like that. I've just always
Well,
gone,
no, I'm telling you,
Well, that's
once
because
again,
you weren't asked to get involved when they came up with the idea.
I'm telling you, that's what a day is. It's how
Yeah.
long it takes your planet to.
Yeah.
What would you mean? The way that what?
No, I'm just saying that's fine and everything. But if when I was born, people said there's 26 hours in a day, I'd go, fair enough. I'm not going to argue.
Well, yeah, we could have made up how long an hour is. Yeah, we could have made
and
hours shorter and get 26
Well,
in.
they're saying they're going to do that.
Well,
Because,
no, they're not.
No, they are, because
No,
there's
they're
so
not.
many people in the world.
Yeah.
This is what I was talking about before. They've got to create more jobs. The only way to have more jobs, keep shops open, take on more people. Everyone's happy.
That makes no sense at all.
Right, say if there's 28 hours in a day.
Yeah, it'd still be 24 hours long as we used to know it.
No, you'd have like, oh, what time is it? Oh, it's like 20 past 25 or whatever.
Well, you're not making any sense at all.
No, I'm just saying.
The Earth would still take 24 hours as we know it now.
Forget it.
Hang on a minute. I want. There's more interesting territory here.
Don't forget, our sleep patterns have evolved on a day. The reason we sort of like go to sleep at night and have about 8 to 10 hours sleep is because that's our evolution.
No, but that's just because that's what we've got used to, isn't it?
Yeah.
You look at a sloth, that's asleep all the time. It's doing what
Yeah,
it
but
wants.
it evolved differently, didn't it?
Right, you can't get away. You're not getting away with this anymore. If you want to live now, join in with us.
Well, it's that time again. It's the feature that the world is saying could rival Monkey News one day. Ready?
Oh, what's he written today?
Well, Carl's diary. You didn't actually
Yeah.
explain what it was. Sunday, got up. Sunny day, so went for a walk in the park. There was a bloke walking down the street who was whistling some kind of annoying tune. He seemed quite happy with himself. Do people only whistle when they're happy? I don't whistle very much.
It's a good point. Whistling is so inane to me. But yeah, it's sort of like going, I'm content. It really is that thing that if they go, you go, well, Mr. Mellors, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Not only has your wife died, but you've lost the house. Thanks, doctor.
Wouldn't happen. Would it?
No,
doesn't
you
seem
don't
right, does
whistle
it?
when
Yeah.
you're sad. The other place you hear it, of course, is changing rooms. And that's men going, I'm whistling, so I'm not looking at your cock. How could I be? I'm concentrating on whistling.
The lake was frozen over where I was walking. The ducks looked worried. They were sat on the edge of the lake waiting for it to melt. Were they, Carl?
Yeah, we just sat there looking, sort of going, oh, what's going on? I don't know. How long is a duck's memory? Because I wondered whether they're going, this doesn't seem right, but I don't know why.
I asked Suzanne why ducks don't use their wings much. They seem to walk and swim more and don't bother using their wings. Suzanne said she had to call her mum and dad, so I never got an answer.
The old excuse. Yeah. Suzanne. Oh, I can't talk now, Carl.
Gotta phone my mum. There was a marathon-type run going on in the park. It reminded me of the time when we were moving flat. It was the day of the London Marathon. Me and Suzanne were walking down the middle of the road, taking some stuff to our new flat. I was carrying a lamp and a kitchen bin. People were clapping me, thinking I was doing some kind of fun run.
Why were you walking on the same route?
Because it was when we lived on the Docklands.
Oh,
And,
brilliant.
There was no other route. The flat was just about 100 yards down the road.
They're going, look at the bloke with the bald wig. He's carrying a lamp and a bin.
Took a bag of old clothes to Oxfam. It was just old T-shirts and a couple of jumpers with holes in it. I don't think anyone will buy them. But the Oxfam is closer to the flat than the wheelie bin is. On the tube on the way back home, saw an advert for a book about a woman who works in a funeral home. She went into work one day, she goes to work on a body, she takes the sheet off of one of the bodies, and it looks exactly like her. This is called a doppelganger.
What's a doppelganger to you?
It's the thing I read about him ages ago where someone was walking down the street.
Yeah, and he sees someone who looked a bit like him.
And no, this was weirder than that.
Go on.
He remembers like going down that street as a kid on his bike whistling,
Yeah.
and then he's walking down the street going to get some milk or whatever from the shop. Little bike comes whizzing past. He hears the whistling. He goes, "That's weird." Looks at it. It was him when he was a kid. So it's like a time.
Oh, shit. What do you mean it was him as a kid?
This is like a different form of doppelganger. It's just
Well, it's impossible. It's rubbish.
some sort of time thing, isn't it?
No, it's
time,
but that's
sort of-
impossible. So don't
It's
worry
just some
about
kind
it.
of time thing, Rick. No.
Yeah,
just
something
some
you
kind of time
read
thing.
again on the internet, or it was a short story, or something someone told you.
On my walk back from the tube, I saw a jogger who was pushing a pram at the same time. The kid looked terrified. Got my science book out. It said that the static you get on the telly when a channel isn't tuned in properly is radiation that is still knocking about from when the Big Bang happened. I thought about the Big Bang and wondered if it was really a Big Bang or did it just sound louder as there was no other noise to drown it out.
Good point, though, isn't it?
Carl's diary, Rick, never ceases to amaze.
Oh, well, it's that time now. Yeah? It's the big one.
Oh, chimpanzee, that monkey news!
Right, there was this
Monkey?
this fella, right, who he had a problem with his eyes, right?
Yeah.
So he goes to the doctors and he goes, oh, I've got a problem with my eyes. And he goes, yeah, they bad them, right? He goes, it was in America, you know, like how you have to pay for medical stuff and all that. And the doctor said, oh, if I fix them, it's going to be like 10 grand, right? He's like, but I haven't got the money, doctor. He goes, well, I can't help you then. You know, there's a lot of people with bad eyes like them. I can't do anything for you. So he goes, oh, it's getting worse. I can't do anything. So anyway, so he goes home.
Is that the price of human eyes, is it?
So he goes home, he's looking in the paper, right? And he sort of sees in the adverts at the back. And there's a little advert there saying cheap doctors, right?
No, bollocks.
Oh, no.
No.
So he's thinking, oh, maybe that's what I need, right? So he calls them up. Woman's there. She's like, wait, what can I do? He goes, I've got bad eyes and that. She says, oh, come in tomorrow, we'll sort them out. She's like, brilliant, I'll see you then. Right? So he goes down there and he says, right, you know, I can hardly see. My eyes have got in really bad state and what have you.
Right.
Need to have them sorted out. I don't know what you do, whatever you do,
Right.
I need
Now,
doing.
his eyes are so bad, can he see the doctors? He can...
Not really,
Can't
sort
really
of
see
squinting
squinting.
and that, but you know, so he's like, do I need to see the doctor to, you know, have a word and tell him what problem? She's like, no, don't worry about that.
Don't worry about
just,
it.
No, I'd be comfortable if it's a...
just you know, just let me inject you and we'll knock you out and we'll get on with it. And it's
we'll
like,
get the
well,
doctor in.
Can I just tell you something about chimps as well, just before you continue?
Go on.
You know, they don't have opposable thumbs.
Now,
which is
why
what-
are opposable thumbs useful, Rick?
Well, to grip something, to do anything like, you know, even simple stuff like writing, so let alone surgery. So without an
But
opposable
can I just check
thumb-
now?
Go on.
So if I was a doctor and I was doing any form of difficult surgery, would I need opposable thumbs?
You'd need opposable thumbs
To be a
And-
doctor,
and
okay,
without
fine.
you couldn't do anything. You
Th-
could.
thanks for clearing that up.
Because the opposable thumb allowed something in our evolution called the precision grip.
Right.
So without that, you couldn't do anything.
I'm just glad they've got that cleared up, thanks.
So anyway, so he's had the injection, he's nodding off and what have you, right? His eyes are sort of closing and that. He hears the door open, he sort of just sees this little fella come in and he's like, hello, doctor. And he's trying to, like, make a chat with it.
Sure.
But, like, he's just
It?
nodding off. No,
Just
Oh,
he
he's
or
never
she,
called a
was
doctor.
it he or she?
These people have done 7 years medical
Deeply
training.
respected people.
How could you call it it?
So anyway, he thought, oh, it's weird he didn't answer, but, you know, doctors can be quite moody. You know, they're highly intelligent. They don't need...
Especially little hairy ones.
Well, just idle chit-chat. There's no room for that, do you know what I mean?
totally.
Like, I'm here
Yeah,
to do a job.
yeah, but you know, if I'm going in to have my eyes done, I want a little bit of idle chimp chat.
So anyway, time passes, right? He sort of wakes up and he opens his eyes, right? And it's brilliant. He can't believe it.
Eyes are perfect.
He's had the op. He can't believe the sight. He's like, nurse, right? And the nurse comes in because I can't believe it. This is brilliant. I've never had this such good sight. Do you know what I mean? Even when I was a baby,
Yeah.
and my eyes were new,
Yeah.
I didn't see this good.
Great.
So she's like, well, you know, that's
You
what,
realise the nurse is a panda.
that's what we do, right? So he said, right, so can I just see the doctor and just say thanks and that? She's like, well, to be honest, you know, he's specialised in what he does. There's a lot of
What
work.
a load of bollocks this is getting.
Please.
Where did you get this from?
No, come on, let's hear the end of the news.
There's a lot of like operations he's got to do.
Yeah.
So you know, leave him to it. He's just having a kip. You know, I'll let him know that you were grateful. You know, pays the check. Off you go. Go and enjoy looking at stuff.
Yeah.
So he said, no, just what's wrong with that? I just want to see that. Just
No,
like,
that's
no,
fine.
leave it. Just leave.
Yeah, exactly. Leave it. If
And he's
says
like,
pay the
yeah,
check.
but I can't. You know, I want to thank him. So he's done such a good thing for me. So they're getting into a bit of an argument and what have you, and the voices are raising, right? Door opens.
Gonna wake the doctor up.
Well, that's what they did. They woke it up, right?
They woke it up.
It.
So the door opens, right? Little monkey comes out, and he's like, "What's going on here? It's a hospital. Why is a monkey knocking about?"
Yeah.
So the woman said, "Well, what do you mean? He's the doctor." Right? So he's like, "You are having a laugh, aren't you?" She goes, "Look, don't complain. Your eyes are sorted.
Yeah.
You know, the doctor's done it. What's the problem?" He said, "Well, if I'd have known that, I wouldn't have come here." She said, "Well, what do you mean you didn't know that?" She said, "The advert in the paper you read, it said like chimp doctors."
That is the biggest load of shit I've ever heard. That really is the worst.
What? And because his eyes were so bad, he thought it said cheap doctors.
He saw the advert and it said chimp doctors, but because his eyes were bad, he just saw it.
What journal is this in?
It was years ago because it sort of says how the monkey sort of carried on working for a few years. He couldn't do anything
Then
about
just
it. He had to
retired to
leave
play
it.
golf.
It's absolute bollocks.
It's
There's
abs-
no way. I mean, it's not even worth talking about. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
It's the most ridiculous monkey news you've ever heard, and that's saying something.
Chimp doctors, cheap. It's easy mistake.
For the past few years, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant, and Carl Pilkington have been meeting regularly for a series of pointless conversations. This is one of them.
Testing. Is that all right?
Hello and welcome to the Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And the little round-headed buffoon that is Carl Pilkington.
All right.
We do, of course, Rick, every week get thousands of emails. I mean, it's Freddie from Winchester says, of course, it was recently Valentine's Day. What's the most romantic thing that you've done for Suzanne, Carl, that you can think of?
I don't really do all that.
Sure.
The Valentine's Day stuff.
It's just the problem is if you do it once, they expect it every year.
Yeah.
That's the problem with Christmas and stuff, innit? It's like that's what you do now every year.
Every day, yeah.
So I prefer to just sort of wait. You know what I mean? And you know, if I think of an idea or I know of something that she wants, I might get her something, but I might not do it on Valentine's Day. It's that thing. It's like how I've said about Pancake Tuesday. Make it Pancake Wednesday. Have it when you want. Why am I waiting? Why am I waiting for someone to tell me when I can have a pancake? I'll have it today if I want one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas Pancake Tuesday, no, I won't bother. I'll have trifle. So it's the same with this, you know, with Suzanne. Luckily, right? I mean, Valentine's Day and what have you. She was ill,
Luckily.
so we didn't have to go out. So I'd say, is he asking for advice?
Well, I suppose, yeah, certainly you may as well give it.
Treat them when they deserve it.
All right.
I remember once when Suzanne was ill, she had a fever, but there was no food in the house. What did you suggest to her? She was too ill.
Well,
cook.
it was when we were still living in Manchester and that, and we needed to get some food in for tea and stuff. And I said, come to the supermarket. She was like, no, I'm ill, you go. And I hate buying food. I just sort of get a bit blank when I'm looking at it. There's too much, isn't there? That's the problem. You go down all these aisles and there's just too much. So anyway, I said, no, come with me. She was like, oh, but I've got this fever, I'm hot and everything. So I said, well, come to the supermarket, you go on the frozen aisle, cool yourself down. And she did, and she said, you know, it made it worse. She was ill for another 3 days.
How would you go about chatting up a woman in a bar? What tips could you give?
I've never worked like that. It's always been like a friend of a friend and all that, and just happened to meet them. And then, you know, you have a chat, and then...
How did you meet Suzanne?
That was when I was working with her, and she gave me 20p for the hot chocolate machine. She never asked for it back. Thought she's all right. Been there sort of 11 years, so it works.
Has she ever given you that? You've never given that 20p
Never
back?
asked for it back.
And did you return the favour, perhaps on the next date? You buy her a Kit Kat or something?
No, I don't think I did. I think word got out that she liked me and that. And what did I do? I think I did some work for her. I did some editing for her, to sort of show off my skills and that.
Sure.
And she was like, "Oh, you're good at this, aren't you?" I was like, "Yeah." And I think she got us another drink because I was doing that editing for her in my own time.
So you're up on the deal, aren't you? Because I know now, I know for a fact that you've not spent any money on her in 11 years. So you're 40p up.
At least. Lawrence from New York says, I was wondering how Mr. K. Dilkington would interpret this famous saying of philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein. The quote is, if a lion could talk, we could not understand him.
Even if he's English.
Yeah, if a lion could speak English, so there's no language barrier, he's speaking English words and using all the correct grammar and everything, but you wouldn't be able to understand what he was saying.
Why?
Because it is from a different world. His frames of reference would be so bizarre that you wouldn't be able to get a grasp on what he was talking about, because you'd have so little in common, even if he used real words.
No, but he's talking English.
Yeah, no, but his reference points would be just so far removed. You know, they're removed slightly when if you saw two people talking about Kierkegaard, you'd
I wouldn't understand it.
Exactly. So remove that a billion times to a different species with different input.
No, but it depends. If I'm talking to a lion in London Zoo,
Yeah.
he'll be saying, "Oh, I'm fed up of being stuck in here." I'll go, "Yeah." It's like that. It depends what his background is. I mean, there's some people who might have lived down the road from me, but have a totally different life.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't matter that it's a lion, does it?
Well, yeah, because they're just trying to remove it even more. So now it's not just a bloke who lived a few doors away. Now it's not even a bloke. Now it's not even...
Yeah, but I'd pick something smaller or something, you know, a worm without a mouth. I'd go, definitely not.
What? Definitely not what?
I wouldn't be having a chat with it. I just think that a worm that's on the ground, what's it got to offer me? It's blind and it hasn't got a mouth. It's not going to be a good day out with it, is what I'm saying. It's not going to have that much to say to me, even if it's English. Right?
Even if it's
And how can you tell if a worm is English? Does it wear a very tiny bowler hat?
Oh, Christ.
But do you understand?
What about a jellyfish?
No, you see, I think that's where you can say you wouldn't be able to have a good chat with them, because to me, the sea might as well be another world.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In a way, I think the fish sort of have more rights than us.
What do you mean?
Just because when whoever made the world, right?
Yeah.
Say, you know, we're just bigging up God, but if I was to have a go at him, I'd say you added too much water.
Criticism 1 to God, right?
So
How would you have changed that? Just
more land.
Fair enough. Now, why have fish got more rights than us? That was what I was
Because there's loads of them, and when you look at the amount of sea on the world, right? There's loads of that. You only have to like I was in Malaga the other week, right? And you look in the sea. There's loads of different fish, and that's just in like 8-foot water. If you go miles out, there's like all sorts of weird fish, isn't there, with like lights on them and everything. So, and there's just millions of different types.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
But why does that mean they've got more rights than us?
just because I think, rights come in numbers, don't they? If you know what I mean. Like, if there's one of you shouting, people go, oh, he's an idiot, shut up, whatever. If there's loads of you shouting, they go, oh, best listen to them, see what they've got to say.
Right.
And that's what I mean about fish.
Yeah.
There's loads of fish,
Right.
so
But they're not really making their voices heard, though, are they, Carl?
Yeah.
I know because they're underwater. But what I mean is, I don't know what I mean.
Carl, right? What do you think it's like being a crab? If you could go now, your mind into a crab, what would you see? Where would you be? What would you be doing? What would you be thinking? What would you think of all the other things the crabs you'd see, the squids you'd see? What's it like, do you think? I want you to... It's like creative writing. Just think. Just let yourself go. Come on.
It's got to be a crab.
What do you think of a slug? What do you think to be a slug? What would you do if you were transported now into a slug? What would you do? And Suzanne, you're suddenly in the kitchen, but you're a slug, and Suzanne's sort of like there, just making tea and that. How do you let her know it's you?
It's impossible. I'd just chuck myself into the salt pot or something. No, because what do you do? I'd hate that. That would be horrible, that.
Oh, God.
Have you ever read Franz Kafka's Metamorphosis?
Don't
In which
think
a
so.
man wakes up and he's turned into a giant beetle? And that's the whole story. I think it might be of interest to you.
So what happened to him with the beetle?
Well, I don't want to ruin it for you in case you
No,
read it.
I
but
won't be
it's-
reading it, don't worry.
He joined a pop group with 3 other people. He was brilliant.
No, it's a really wonderful book. It's a kind of almost heartbreaking because, of course, he does, like Ricky's saying, he finds it very hard then to relate to other people, even though he still has the consciousness of a human. His parents, his rest of his family, they don't know how to deal with him, because he's a giant beetle. He becomes a freak. He becomes an outsider. It's terrible,
But hang on, though. Is he a giant beetle? Or
Yeah.
is he... Well, yeah, that's not going to go down well, is it? That, of course, people aren't going to like you. But if it's a normal-sized one, then you just get in with the other beetles, don't you? Whereas if you're
But
a
you'd be
giant...
sort of
How would you do that? How would you ingratiate yourself? Right, so you're suddenly a beetle. You're Carl Pilkington, right? There's other people. They're doing their business. They're scuttling around. And you go in there and they look at you as a new beetle. What's your first... What do you do? How do you ingratiate yourself?
Well, for a bit, I wouldn't sort of barge into their house and that. I'd wait until they're out and about, and I'd like in life, right? Sort of help them out. I don't know what beetles do all day. I've never seen one doing anything. They just seem to be going from one place to another.
Right.
I've never seen them carrying anything. I don't know what they eat. I don't know what they do. I don't know how we've got them, right? But what I mean is, I'd watch them and I'd sort of help them out. And I mean, it's like going on a date or meeting a woman, isn't it?
But what if there is...
Whoa, hang on. What do you mean? How is it like going on a date with a woman?
Well, it's like I said about Suzanne with her hot chocolate. She bought me that, and I've gone, she's all right. Right? She gets me another one. Before I know it, she's living with me. So, it's...
So you're all these beetles, they're scrolling around, right? You're sort of like watching them, and then you realise that you want to mate with this female beetle. What do you do? What's your first move?
Yeah, but I don't know what beetles do I? So I don't know how what you do. I don't know if you go up and go, all right. What do they do? How do they get on?
Well,
It's a different world. I don't know yet, do I? Because I haven't done it.
would you feel bad because having your own mind in this beetle, right? Would you feel bad shagging a beetle? Would you feel that was a bit sick because you've got a human mind?
Well, no, because you just close your eyes and that, won't you? Think of something else. So get round it that way. There's no point getting down about it because I'm stuck now as a beetle. So you've got to get on with it.
But if you're a slug, you said you'd throw yourself in the salt pot. What would you do if you were a beetle if you got depressed? And you see all the other humans.
No,
you see
but-
your mates, right? They're listening to the iPod. What would you do?
But no, that's what I'm saying. No, beetles are different because they do tend to hang about with each other. A slug's always on its own. It's a lonely insect, isn't it?
It's not an insect.
All right, what is it?
A mollusk.
Right, they're lonely. I've never seen a load of snails all together or slugs wandering about. Whereas beetles seem to knock about in crowds.
Yeah.
So, oh God, Okay, right, another one.
So they're sociable creatures, and it wouldn't bother you that you've got the mind of Carl Pilkington in there? Because you can't communicate with these people,
what if
because they
you-
don't speak English. They don't have any communication with you.
Yeah, but if it's happened to me, there'll be another one in there.
Okay, then. Right, okay. What would you do, right? That's the most disgusting thing. What could it be? Right, what would you do, right, if you were suddenly a fly, right, and you were knocking around with the flies, right, and you had to land on some,
Excrement?
yeah, what would you do?
Yeah, but I don't have to.
What do you mean? You're a fly. You're
Yeah, but
loving
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't be loving it, though, would I?
it. Why?
Because I'm me in that fly's head. So I don't think other flies would be going, come on, join in. I'd just be like, no, I'll wait here, wait, watch and that. Because I don't see why they have to do that.
What would you do, right, if you had to go back and you were in a, you were had to go put your mind in like the an unhatched egg of something, like maybe one of those that a wasp was injected in a spider. So you know you're in an egg, right, which is really uncomfortable, in a spider. How would you feel about that, Carl? You're a baby wasp in the abdomen of a spider.
And I know everything that I know now. I'm sat in there.
Yeah. And now I'm in a spider as an unborn wasp. What the fuck am I doing here? What's going on?
I don't know what I'll do there. Probably try and sleep. There's nothing else to do, though, is there?
I just pray to God it never happens.
I don't believe it. He's written it down.
Well, that's the jingle that signals it's time for more extracts from Carl's diary, and we'll lunge straight into it. Wandered down Carnaby Street. There was a happy homeless fella. I gave him £1.50. I thought of a tongue twister after giving him the money. It goes, if you can't treat a cheerful tramp, what sort of tramp can you treat?
It's good, that.
All
Say
right.
it fast.
If you can't treat a cheerful tramp, what sort of tramp can you treat?
Good, isn't it?
Good, that, yeah. You've got too much time on your hands, Carl.
Learned some famous quotes to see if they are as good as my sayings. Number 1, treat every day as if it's your last. Very famous saying. Now, is that something you do, Carl?
But you know, my problem with that one is that if it was your last, you wouldn't want to be doing much. That's the only problem I've got with that. I wouldn't want to, go to a fairground or whatever because you're going, oh, it's my last day, what am I going to do? And I think you'd spend so much time worrying about what you're going to do that you'd end up staying in.
I think you're right. You've taken some of the poetry out of it. I think it means live life to the fullest, right?
I like the fact that you were musing on the idea that if it was your last day, you'd go to the fair. It's getting such a 19th century way of spending your final day.
I know, yeah. Well, the thing is, the other thing is that the only thing that people get depressed about in terms of sort of like life and death is not the knowledge that they're gonna die, but more the knowledge that they know they're gonna die when they're dying. If someone told you, no one ever knows when they're gonna die, no one ever gets an illness, no one ever gets hit by a truck, everyone passes away peacefully in their sleep, dreaming they're riding a big marshmallow, right? Then you wouldn't care about anything. It wouldn't matter when. It wouldn't matter if you died tomorrow or in 30 years' time. You'd just live life to the full. You'd have it every day would be great. You'd go out, you'd come back, you'd fall asleep. That would be amazing. There'd be no stress. There'd be no angsty, we're all gonna die stress, because it wouldn't matter, because it would just be your life. Wouldn't it be amazing if someone guaranteed you, Carl, you're gonna die in your sleep? I'm not gonna tell you when.
Yeah, but some people do, don't they?
Well, exactly.
Yeah,
but we
I
never
want
know
that.
we're going to, because we stress. What if we get a dreadful illness? What if we,
But we're almost not letting people die naturally anymore, are we? Because we're always bodging stuff up.
What do you mean?
Well, someone who might naturally die in the sleep aren't allowed to naturally die in the sleep because they wake them up with those electric things and get them going again and pop in a new lung or whatever whilst they're at it. That's what I'm saying. They don't just... You never hear it anymore, do you? Frank peacefully died in his sleep. No, he died on the operating table whilst we were putting in a new lung. They don't die naturally anymore.
Frank died peacefully with 40,000 volts going through them and a couple of people going, clear, clear.
Rushing about today. Got to get a lot done as I'm flying to Malaga tomorrow to see my mum and dad. Don't like flying. I'd be happy if they give you a parachute instead of a life jacket. They say Da Vinci invented the parachute as well as the helicopter. He never got round to making them, though, because he only drew them on some paper. Got up at 5 a.m. as I had to get to Heathrow to get on the plane to see Mum and Dad in Malaga. Went out for a drink with a cousin who lives in Spain. Ain't seen her for 27 years. Oh, that must have been tricky, making conversation.
I didn't really bother. Because where do you start? I might as well go up to anyone in the street and start having a chat.
You have to go further back than... did you want Chantal to win Big Brother?
Yeah. Me dad and me talked about history. I said we shouldn't go on about things that happened ages ago because I bet something similar has happened more recently.
Brilliant.
Read about an island in the Indian Ocean where there are tribesmen still living like they're cavemen. A helicopter tried to land and the tribesmen chucked spears at them. This is what I meant about not having to talk about things that happened ages ago. We have got new cavemen now, so why do we talk about the old ones? People could have lived before, but computers and all that blew up and books got burnt, so all they had left was what these tribesmen have got left.
Ramblings
And that's
of
the
a
ramblings
madman.
of a maniac.
That
I mean,
is
that's just a few hours before you go crazy with a gun in there.
No, but what I mean there is, right, say if all this has happened before, something happens,
Again, a lot of information from the Planet of the Apes.
world ends, right, we come back again somehow.
Yeah. It's the detail you leave out that makes you intriguing. Just like the watch that you can wear that tells you when you're going to die. How does it work? Pop it on your wrist. That's all the detail you need. So the world happened,
No.
we came back, yeah.
Have you seen the pictures? Forget it then if you don't get it.
It's interesting that you had all those profound thoughts about this period in the past when they all lived, but you've still found it appropriate to include at the end of that. It says that tribesmen wave their knobs about when they've had enough of having visitors.
That's what it said in the paper. That's what happens. They're quite happy.
What paper is this that you're reading?
It was in like a paper a couple of days ago. It said they don't mind having visitors if they're bringing them coconuts and stuff that they can eat. Once they've got everything they need, they start waving the tackle about, and that means like, right, leave now, which you would, wouldn't you?
Yeah, at a dinner party.
My grandfather used to do that. That jingle is getting more annoyed by the week.
Well, this is the final monkey news, right? I'm not doing this anymore, right? Because we've covered it all.
All the monkey news has been covered?
It has. We've done loads of them. I think all the news that needs to be sort of known has been told, right?
That is the end of the news. Jesus Christ.
What?
Get on with it.
Right, do you know we chatted about the monkey that went into space and stuff?
This was the one that was fed by bananas that came out of a little chute on the spacecraft.
Yeah, it went up there. He came back. He could never get that
The high exactly,
again.
yeah.
You know what I mean? He tried other things. I think he tried to get a band together and that. Right, so anyway, there was loads of monkeys that were signed up to this NASA program, and it was 1961 when this little monkey called Ham, that was his name, as well as him, there was one called Enos. So anyway, what I found out about it since then, Ham went up there, did the left-right business with the bananas. Enos, they didn't put as much work into the trip when he went up there, and something went wrong with the machinery. And do you know how you get a banana for the left button and all that?
It's official now. There's two buttons in this spaceship. Banana dispenser and everything else. The right button is everything else.
But it worked the other way. The machinery went weird.
Oh, no, really?
So it meant that the right button would give him a banana.
Right.
The left button did everything else.
Oh, no.
How does
So
that, how does
what
that
had
happen
been
though?
taught? This is the problem with electronics, isn't it?
Well, no, I don't think
No,
that's...
apparently this is the problem.
But the good I mean, honestly, look it up if you want. This is all online, by the
So
way.
what happened when it all went haywire? What occurred?
Luckily,
Carl, this is online and it's bollocks.
luckily, Enos, because he'd done a few trips,
Right, he
so
was
he was like,
experienced.
well, I know this isn't right. As much as I love bananas, this isn't right.
That was his thinking, of course it was.
So anyway, so he came back. They were all like over the moon with him.
He said, I can't work with these conditions.
Good mission and everything. Well done on working it out. He sorted all that out. It moved on a few years. Armstrong's gone up there. Buzz and that other fella, they've been up there. The monkeys aren't needed anymore. But they were like, we've got all these monkeys who have done NASA training. What are we going to do with them all? And they had to raise £14 million to make him like an old sort of chimp tome for retired
Astronauts.
Retired NASA-trained monkeys.
Chimpanauts.
chimpanauts. Something they've got in there is like a little museum, right, of all the missions and that they've been on, so they can sort of, even though they're not going to be going into space again, they can almost relive it and reminisce of the times that they've had. And
They're reminiscing with each other, are they?
just sort of going,
Chatting
oh,
about the
remember
old
that time when it all went wrong, the button became the left when it should have
Yeah.
been the right and all the rest of
Yeah.
it. They just, you know, sort
Talking
of
about old times,
talking
yeah.
about old times and what have you, like old people like to do.
Sure.
And yeah, that's it. So if you want,
Perhaps we should retire Monkey News to that same place.
that's what I mean. So, you know, I hope you've enjoyed the monkey news and that. That was the last one. Look after the monkeys. Do your bit, because they've done their bit. That's it, yeah. But just because I'm not giving the news, look it up. Do you know what I mean? It's all out there. Don't be ignorant.
Wise words.
For the past few years, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant, and Carl Pilkington have been meeting regularly for a series of pointless conversations. This is one of them.
Testing. Is that all right?
Hello and welcome to the Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And the little round-headed buffoon that is Carl Pilkington.
All right.
Remember we were talking a while back about the questionnaire that is often featured at the end of the TV programme Inside the Actor's Studio.
Oh, yeah.
Where the host, James Lipton, always asks the same questions to every guest. And it's just supposed to sort of, get their creative, juices flowing, their mind working. We did ask Carl some of them. We never completed the questionnaire.
Oh, let's
I thought
carry
I'd
on with
fire
that
a few
then.
more at him.
And that'll also introduce people to the way his mind works a little bit. Okay.
What sound or noise do you love, Carl?
There isn't really one that I love. Nice noises,
Yeah.
like the ones you get. Like I like going in the park, right? And you go, oh, that's nice, isn't it? And you get like bird noises and stuff. But with those bird noises comes a bit of stress, right? Because I was in there the other day, and like I say, little bird noises and that, and a little robin was there, and I thought that's odd. That's out early, right? Because it's like sort of summertime and that.
Sure.
And then I thought, oh, that's nice. And I was watching it, and then it got like a little worm, right? And I was like, hey, put it down, right?
Sorry, whoa! What do you mean?
Because
Why
I
are you
didn't-
interfering? Why were you interfering
In nature.
with a robin taking a worm?
Just because it was a nice sunny day and that, and I thought, you see, worms normally come out when it's raining, don't they? And you go, well, I bet they're happy to die, in a way, because it's chucking it down, it's miserable. They come to the top of the soil then, don't they?
Yeah.
When it's miserable. But it was a sunny day.
That's they don't drown, I assume.
No, it's not that, is it? It's just that they hear the water or something falling on the ground and they go up to see what's happening.
What? No way. But why do they come up when they think it's raining? You're a worm, okay? It starts raining. Tell me your thought process.
Well, you just kind of, you're down there, you can't see anything, it's dark anyway.
Yeah.
So the rain's coming down on the land, the worm goes, what's going on?
The worm goes, what's going on?
He wiggles up to the top.
So what does he do?
So it goes up and it sort of sees it's raining, and then it goes back down again, doesn't it? But that's what I'm saying about.
What do you mean? What is this world where it goes, oh, it's just rain again? Oh, so that's the 400th time I've been caught out this year. It's rain. I'll remember next time. I won't come up. What do you think a worm is capable of in terms of cognitive thought?
What do you mean?
Well, a worm can basically tell certain chemicals and certain light patterns. That's all it is, really.
Yeah, and
It's not thinking. It's not choosing its favourite food.
you don't know that, though, is what I'm saying. You don't know what things are thinking. Everything thinks.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, the thinking.
There's something in this room that's not.
All right, what about this one, then? What about flowers? Do you think they've got
A mind.
a feeling? Because here's something that...
Again, they use phototropism. They go towards the sun. They close and
All right,
open.
well,
Can you
They
stop
grow.
using long words, Rick, like sun?
Listen, do you know I've been to my mum and dad's, right? I was talking to my mum about stuff,
All right.
and she was saying how this flower solved a crime. What happened was, there was a murder, right, in an office. So they said it's obvious that someone who works in the office did this murder because that person's only a sort of a typist. They've done nothing wrong. So they said, that's narrowed it down, right? So this flower man came in and he said, I can sort this out for you. So they said, what do you mean? He said, well, during the murder, the plant was knocked off the cabinet,
Yeah.
Right.
and he had some special wires that he can put
Special
on the
wires,
flower,
yeah.
on the flower, and it's sort of shaking and stuff because even though you can't see it, flowers pick up bad vibes and what have you. If you shake a plant, it doesn't like it.
Okay.
Right? So what happened was, he said, right, what we'll do, we'll put the plant back on the shelf,
Yep.
we'll water it, we'll calm it down, then get
Give it a nice cup of tea.
every member of staff
Right.
to come in the room
Yeah.
and just go near the flower.
Right.
So don't tell them.
So like a lineup for the flower.
kind
Yeah.
of.
Kind of like a
Yeah,
lineup.
yeah.
But don't tell them what we're doing. Just send them in
No.
and say, stand by that cabinet where the
Yeah.
murder happened and what have you.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a long day. They were getting through a lot of stuff. It was a big office block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were going, this isn't working. The flower's not budging. Suddenly, they get into like the last part of the day when they were almost giving up.
They call in a sketch artist. The plant gives them a.
Some caretaker fella
Caretaker, yeah.
said, go over there.
Was it?
You
Was
know,
it an
so-
old man that? I mean, because Scooby Doo didn't like him from the beginning.
No.
They send the caretaker over to the plant. He's going, he's thinking, I've got away with this.
Of course.
Plant starts shaking, what have you. They did him.
Okay, wait a minute then. So, was there any other evidence?
Was that
once-
the only evidence they used in the trial?
Well, no, it's one of them things, though. Imagine it, if you're that caretaker and you're thinking, I've got away with this, then suddenly a plant grasses you up. You weren't expecting that. So suddenly you're off guard.
And you go, okay, can't get that chrysanthemum away from me, I did it. You're talking absolute bollocks. That was one of the most nonsense pieces of shit I've ever heard
But
in my
anyway,
life.
listen, well, it happened, but...
It didn't
because you
happen.
said it. But what I was saying is, about the worm, this robin that I saw that was eating the worm, it had hold of it, and I thought it's a sunny day and that, give the worm a break sort of thing. So I went, oh, you, like that, and it sort of dropped it in shock. But then when it realised I wasn't that near it, it picked it up again and swallowed it. And I just thought, oh... Do you know what I mean?
I don't know what you mean, no.
I just thought it's a sunny day and everything. Normally birds are nice noises that I like, and yet there it is going about wrecking lives.
Wrecking lives! It was a
But it just swallowed it really quickly in that, and I just thought, there's the worm. It came out, it was happy, didn't know what was going on, and it had an extra chance. The robin dropped it, and then it got it again and ate it, and I just made me a bit fed up.
Well, do you know why, don't you? You couldn't outwit a robin. The worm was going, oh, God, Carl Pilkington. So that's who's been sent to save me, is it, God? You've sent Carl Pilkington, oh, I'm dead. That's it, okay, eat me.
But all I'm saying is our bird noises are normally quite relaxing, but not for the worm.
Unbelievable. That was one question.
What sound or noise do you hate?
As me or as a worm?
I don't know what you mean. What do you mean?
Why would be asking a worm?
I've never heard an actor say that to James Lipton. When he says, what noise do you hate? What, as me or a worm?
No, but
Wow.
all I'm saying is because of my last question, that's what I was saying. A bird noise is relaxing to me.
Right.
Well, it's not anymore because I think of all the deaths and stuff that go around that.
So now you hate the sound of birds?
I'm just saying it's changed my view on it. It's like anything, isn't it? Every noise can mean a disaster.
Can it? Why would the sound of laughter, people laughing, why would that also signify disaster?
If you wake up in the night by the sound of, like, a baby laughing.
Baby laughing!
No, if I had a baby, right, and
Yeah.
Suzanne was out, she worked nights or something,
Yeah,
and I'd nodded off, I'd put the baby to sleep.
yeah.
and then it's 3 a.m. and I'm woken up by the sound of a baby laughing, that would terrify me.
How is this that? I just think the baby's sitting up in a chair like Chucky, going.
Well, no, I think the baby's reading his diary. Thinking, oh Christ, this is my father. I just hope I'm adopted.
Oh God, a baby laughing.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
This is you, not as you as a worm.
But have I had the training?
Oh, for
Oh.
No, well, I've said before, haven't I, about maybe having to go out an operation.
I don't know why it leaps from where it leaps from no ambition. Where if he could have a job, it would his best job he's ever had is a paper round, and if he could have a job, he'd like go to the cobbler once a week and then walk a dog. To I'd like to have a go at thoracic surgery.
No, I'm just saying, I bet it's like we do this, and you know, some people like listening to it and what have you, and you go, fair enough, but I never feel like I'm doing anything of any worth.
No, you're absolutely right there.
But if you're going into like an hospital, which are places that are pretty miserable anyway, as an office space, not only have you got to go in that building and work in it, but you've then got the pressure of changing a lung or whatever I've said before. Right?
Changing a lung, yeah.
But I'd like to have a go at it so I can say
You've done it.
I've done that.
So under what circumstances, in what world, do you think anyone's going to let you have a go at changing a lung and that? Jim will fix it.
No, I'm just saying the
Comic
way.
relief.
But the way the world is, and the way that there's more and more people, more and more doctors are needed. I mean, it's already happening now that people are doing jobs that they're not really qualified for because they get sort of what's the word? Sort of uppered too early.
Upward.
Upward! I love the fact it's basic language. It's like it's unbelievable. Upward.
Do you know what I mean?
Promoted.
Yeah, promoted.
Yeah.
They get promoted.
I
too
prefer
early.
upward.
Upward's great.
Why was I not upward? Unbelievable.
So do you know what I mean? I think because more and more people are knocking about, we need more and more doctors.
Yeah.
You get a job in a doctor's, you're going to be promoted sooner now, I think.
Yeah. Well, what I'd do is I'd probably upper you, and then what's the word? You go away them.
I think it is you go away them.
You leave the door. You leave the door. You fire them. That's it. That's the word I'm looking for. So I'd upper you and go away the doctor, if anything.
But I've been to, you know how I don't like going to the doctors and stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you're always scared that they might investigate below the bridge.
Yeah, but I checked on that before. I signed up to it, and then they said, right, before we can take you on as a patient, you've got to have a health check, right? Which I thought was odd, because it's almost like saying, if you're ill, we can't be having you coming here, right? But I said, right, okay, fair enough. What is this health check? And they said, oh, you know, we just check your body out and make sure you're fit and healthy. And I thought that isn't enough information. You know, I want to know if it's the old finger trick, or and I said, what do you mean though? When you said health check, what do you do? And she said, oh, it's just, I think she knew what I was getting at. And she said, oh, it's just the blood pressure, your height, your weight. That's about it. So I went and had it and stuff. But you had to, before you sort of said, right, I want this doctor, they give you loads of forms to fill out, right? And one of the things they did was, if you die, what do you want to give away, right? Like a donor.
Mm.
And what have you. And I thought, I really thought about it for 40 minutes or so. I didn't just rush into it. I was sat there thinking, you know, if I'm dead, does it matter and stuff? But I was really concerned when it said about the eyes.
Right.
Right. Why? What do you mean? What? Because can they have your eyes after you die?
It was. I think it was fourth on the list.
Why do you care about giving your eyes away when you're dead?
Just because of that thing of, you know, we don't know for sure yet. I know that you poo-poo it, but the afterlife thing.
So why in an afterlife would you want your eyes more than your liver and your kidneys and your lungs and your heart?
Because ghosts don't eat, do they? So you don't need all your liver and your kidneys and stuff, because they're only there to sort your food out. But your eyes, if you're a ghost, I don't want to be a blind ghost. Because you're around forever then, aren't you? Once you're a ghost, that's it. So the idea of being blind when you're alive, you go, well, all right, then maybe in the afterlife I might be treated to a pair of eyes. But the fact of wandering about, dead for years, bumping into stuff...
Oh, God! Oh, it's amazing!
So
that's an amazing image.
So I didn't tick that box.
But why? I don't understand. In your theory of the afterlife, why is it that this ghostly Carl, why can he survive without a heart, but he can't survive without eyes? Why? Do you see what I mean? Surely, if you're this ghostly apparition, you can just see everything and you can do everything. You don't need the body.
No,
because you're a ghost.
Yeah, I know, but I think when you're a ghost, say like how they've seen ghosts in.
Right, could I just say now for any listeners, this is not the thoughts and beliefs of the management. There is no such thing as ghosts. I do not believe in ghosts. I do not believe in ESP or any mumbo jumbo. Carry on, Carl. So when there's a ghost, yeah.
When they see ghosts in like old castles and stuff,
yeah,
they've had their head cut off because they've been up to no good, like years ago.
But they're carrying it around normally under their arm.
That's what I'm saying. It hasn't reattached itself. So if you take the eyes out.
But Carl, how is this ghostly creature able to function? It doesn't have its head on anyway. It's carrying it under its arm. So the suspicion is it doesn't need its head.
No, it does.
It just happens to be carrying it around because it wants to keep it with it.
The ghost is always in the last condition that it was in when it was in.
Who makes these rules?
The way you are in your last bit of life is how you are as a ghost forever, even in the fashion. Like I say, the ghosts that you see never wear modern clothes, so it's always the Victorian stuff. Now, if they could change it, they would, but they can't because they're stuck with it. So that's
why
what I'm
did you see
saying with the eyes.
cavemen ghosts? When did ghosts start? They didn't kick in till about 1830, did they? What if you die when you're having a rectal examination? Are you always bent forward with your trousers around your ankles and someone's finger up your arse?
But why would you die when you're having that done? That's why I'm not having it done. If that's you saying.
No. But you might have both been suddenly killed in a terrible disaster.
Yeah, a meteorite hit you.
That's when you get the moaning ghosts, isn't it? They're the ones who aren't happy.
So you're going round bent forward. You've got a doctor's finger up your arse, and what are you doing?
You're sort of going, oh, and that's when you have to get the vicar round.
What do you mean?
They have to put you to rest and what have you, don't they?
And what does a vicar do when he's going? So I get the vicar round. It's years later. It's 100 years later. You're around this doctor's surgery, and there's people coming, and the doctor there, the new doctor there, and it's 2073, and they go, Vicar. They go, Vicar, there's a strange ghostly apparition. It looks like an old doctor, right? And he's got his fingers up this sort of like little. It's like a chimpanzee, but with a shaved head.
No, but the doctor wouldn't be. Are you saying the doctor dies as well?
Yeah,
You both die.
You die at the same time with his finger up your ass, and so you're forever having a little rectal examination with your little trousers around your ankles.
Well, that's when it'd be best not to have your eyes.
Rick, I know this is something you always get excited about. It's Carl's diary. Can we have a jingle?
I don't believe it. He's got a mini gun.
Thank you very much. Woke up to the news about an elephant in India that had sore feet, so the locals have made it a big pair of slippers. Tried to look online for a picture, but I couldn't find anything.
Sure, they've made it 2 pairs of slippers.
Well, I'm only going by the facts in the diary, Rick, and I would have thought that they were absolutely bona fide and fact-checked and completely accurate. I'd be very surprised if there's any mistakes in here. I'm sure they've done this for an elephant before. I thought elephants have bad memories.
No,
but fair enough. I thought elephants have bad memories. If they have, I'm guessing it's going to keep forgetting where it's left them.
I mean, just to get if it's a myth, the myth completely wrong.
Yeah.
Elephants never forget. That's the saying. Not they always forget, so you can buy them slippers every year.
Carl says I haven't had a pair of slippers for years. He thinks they're dying out.
No, I love slippers.
I love a pair of slippers.
I love
mate.
a pair of slippers, mate.
Just wear socks.
Slidey on a
no.
slidey on a piece of lino.
I know. And what about if you maybe opening a brand new box of thumbtacks? You drop them all over the floor. You're trying to pick them up.
Rick, I've got to pop across the road to get some milk, but it's right opposite. I'm surely not going to go in my socks, though, am I? But I don't want to put on the shoes. It's mad.
No. Pop some slippers on.
But perfect, yeah.
Yeah.
You shouldn't go out in your slippers
Why not?
Just across the street, mate, to get some milk.
because they're inside shoes. You don't go rowing about on tarmac in slippers. That's basic.
But you don't have any slippers, so
No,
you're
but-
just tiptoeing across the street, you know.
I
with
put
your-
my shoes on.
But you can pop out and get the paper and the bottle of milk, can't you, in the slippers without any harm done?
No.
Apparently not. That'll make it into the diary. Tried to have a shower, but there was no water.
I love it when he calls me and things go wrong with the flat.
But I like the fact that he tried to have a shower, but there's no water. How long did it take you before you realised he was there for 20 minutes?
After 20 minutes, he said, Suzanne, should I be dry?
Yeah, I'm freezing cold.
Yeah, no, you should be sort of wet and warm. Right, there's no water then. Brilliant.
I called the service charge people, but no one was about. Looked outside, but couldn't see any work going on. Great, innit? In India, they can sort out elephants with shoes. In London, we have no water. Hung about for a bit, but still no sign of any water. Brushed my teeth just using the paste and used the little bit that was in the kettle to have a wash. I was pretty chuffed that I thought of using that. Suzanne was a bit annoyed because she wanted a cup of tea. She said, go across the road and buy a big bottle of water.
Not in your socks. Pop some slippers on.
Go across the road and buy a big bottle of water, she said. I never thought of that. You had a wash using the water in the bottom of the kettle?
Yeah, well, that's clean, isn't it?
But how much? There's only a little drop in there.
No, it's a big kettle.
So what, did you just wash your face?
Yeah.
So you didn't wash your body or anything?
Your genitals
Well,
were
you couldn't, could
filthy.
you? You've got to look at what you can do with the water available. People in Africa and that short of water aren't wasting it, saying, oh, the feet are a bit dirty. They drink it. What do you mean?
Had a look online to see what's been going on. Scientists say that Everest, brackets, the mountain, just in case you've confused that with any other Everests.
Maybe the double glazing people.
Yeah. You say that scientists say that Everest has grown a bit. The way they were talking about it, you'd have thought it's grown loads. It's only inches.
No, isn't that... They found out that it's actually a couple of inches taller than they first thought because their methods of measuring are more accurate than they were 20 years ago. So it's bigger than they thought it was. It hasn't grown.
No, I just think what's happened is at the bottom, because of like people are always climbing up it, aren't they? Right?
Yeah.
So they're sort of wearing away the soil at the bottom.
Talk rubbish.
So
It's
their weight has
also,
pushed it down.
it's also measured against sea level. It's not measured about when you get... Otherwise, they'd just dig a big hole, wouldn't they, and go, right, it's down to here. If the
No, but
peak
does it-
is measured
at the end
against
of the day,
sea
though,
level.
does it matter at the end of the day?
No, but it's just nice to know, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is we don't need to know that. It's not going to put anyone off. Like Brian Blessed, who's always climbing up there for fun, he's not going to go, oh, I could handle it last year, but 2 more inches. Forget that. Going to be shattered. So don't worry about it. It doesn't matter how big it is. Something else, though, that's happened since, right? They were climbing up there, and someone got near the top, and they were sort of climbing up like that, holding the cliff edge and that.
And they'd forgotten the flag. Had to go back.
No, their hand hit the bit of rock, and it went like, ding. I'm like, what's that? Ding, ding. Put another hand up, ding, ding. Piano under there. They don't know how it's got there.
Right, you're talking shit again.
Someone's been tipping.
Well, oh, right.
Up Everest.
Okay. The council won't even take away your washing machine unless you pay them. They're not going to sneak up Everest.
No, this is the problem, innit? Because the council won't take anything. People are going, what can we do with this?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Just sneak up Everest. It'll take you 9 days, and you may die. But just pop it up on Everest.
Well, I know for a fact that you've confused a few things there, because I think the piano being found was actually somewhere in Scotland, some kind of moor in Scotland, and they found a piano up there, and everyone said, I don't understand, how's the piano doing up here? And it turned out that some guy, one of these people who like tries to break world records, had dragged a piano up there as some kind of feat of endurance, but thought, I'll be damned if I'm going to take it back again, and just left it up there. It wasn't, bloody tipping or aliens or anything. Some scientists have come up with a cure for bird flu. It's something to do with some stuff in horses. They gave the flu to a mouse and then injected it and it's well again. I think we should stop coming up with cures for things as the germs are just getting stronger and stronger. I reckon by 2020, germs will be so big that we will be able to see them in the air. They will no longer be little particles. You wouldn't swallow one. If you did, it won't be the germ that will kill you. You'll just choke to death.
I think that's how we'll die in the future.
Choking on enormous giant germs. And then they'll be like rampaging around the cities, will they?
I'll tell you what, though, right? I'm getting worried now because the stuff he believes and thinks of, it could be mental. Do you know what I mean, though? Like a proper paranoid sort of... one of those people that assume going to live in a loft covered in tinfoil.
Yeah.
Right? And pages of the Bible all the way around the... and Suzanne's having to put on some sort of spacesuit to come in and give him his beans on toast. And he's going to have to polish each bean.
That's what scientists do, isn't it? They just sort of think ahead of everyone else. That's what I'm doing. And the weird thing is, right, Steve, sometime last week, there was a science piece which was close to what I'd already said.
Yeah.
That they've got some germs
Sure.
that like eating sugar, right? They stick them in a lunchbox with a chocolate bar. Within an hour, it was gone, right? And they say now these germs love chocolate and
Did
stuff.
this scientist leave it near this fat scientist that works in the same laboratory? And he went, it's unbelievable. He said, Ted, he went, what? Right, I put the chocolate bar in here with the germ. I came, it's gone. That's amazing. Well, that's brilliant, that. Do it again. What? Do it again. Leave another one, see if it happens again.
So in the future, you're running around and germs are...
Eating chocolate.
That's not science, that's Pac-Man.
For the past few years, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant, and Carl Pilkington have been meeting regularly for a series of pointless conversations. This is one of them.
Testing. Is that all right?
Hello and welcome to the Ricky Gervais Show with me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant.
Hello.
And the little round-headed buffoon that is Carl Pilkington.
All right.
Questions for Carl, just to sort of try and tap into his brain, see what's going on there.
Yep.
The questionnaire that is often featured at the end of the TV programme Inside the Actor's Studio. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Is that how it works?
Oh.
No.
What do you mean? What's the question?
Well, I don't know. You hear so many other things that you have to go through other gates. I can't imagine him being on the door, is what I'm saying. If he owns a place, what's he doing there? He could put anyone on it.
It's St. Peter, isn't it, who's normally minding the gates, famously.
Right, so it's him asking me.
OK, well, let's say it's St. Peter.
No. You go through the gate. Peter goes, oh, you're expected. He's got an appointment. We're going through to God. Go through a few doors. Go up top floor. Right, past the executive washroom into his big office. OK, that overlooks the universe.
So what?
So you've gone in to see God. It's an audience with God. You've died. You've gone to heaven. And what would you like God to say to you at that point?
Probably just say, you've done well and that in your life. You never did anybody any harm. So, welcome to heaven. Any problems, give us a shout. Here's a little layout of like a little map. It's kind of like.
I love this. This is a great answer. And my favourite one is you never did anyone any harm. That's great. That's a brilliant thing for God to say.
Yeah.
So hang on, he's giving you a little map.
So he's got a little map of the area.
Map,
It's
and
big.
he'll sort of say, this is where you go for this is where you go for that. I'd probably ask him about the ghost situation. I'd say, am I now a ghost then? Or is this just like another planet that I've come onto?
Right.
I don't know if he'd answer that. I don't know if he'd be sort of a bit...
Bit cagey.
Yeah, a little bit like, well, I don't want to panic you and stuff. I'd say, right, is it right that I can see past family and that? Because to be honest, I'd probably prefer to stay away.
He doesn't even want to.
No, but because the thing is, if
That's
you've done
amazing.
I've done all that in this life, so it's about moving on to another life and meeting different people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point? It's just
Yeah.
like the same all over again, but everywhere's white. I mean, I don't know if it is like
Do you
this.
think
I'm
God
just-
would like this podcast?
Well, I suppose it just kills half an hour, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, but time's not a problem for him, is it?
Yeah, it is, because he lives for ages, so he needs loads of filler. I bet he's, doing stuff that he's just like, I'm not really into this, but it's something to do, isn't it?
Sudoku and stuff.
But I think there'll be just as many problems up there as there is here, because at least people are leaving here. Whereas up there, that's the thing that I'd be worried about the most, actually, that it's really crowded. Because it's years and years of dead people, isn't it? London does me head in. Up there, it's going to be well busier than that.
What about teenagers? And do you feel that life was better in, say, the 1950s?
I don't know, I wasn't around. So
but you understand what it was like in those days? You've seen Happy Days.
I don't know, people always say, don't they? Old people always say, it's a better life in the 50s. And it's like, yeah, it was for them. Of course it was for them. They're old now. Being old isn't great, is it? So you're just happy with your lot. I suppose I was happiest in about 1984.
Quite a specific year.
Why? Why was
It
that?
was just I was free and happy. Do you know what I mean?
How old were you?
I don't know.
He's just counting on his fingers now.
12.
Right, okay.
And it was just good.
So the happiest days of your life were between the age of 12 and 13?
Yeah, it was good. I had the world ahead of me.
Little did you know your hair was going to fall out and you were going to whinge every minute of the day.
I had my bike. I like messing about my bike. You had your mates. I had a pet magpie.
So you were probably the teenager that you eventually hate?
Probably.
Were you a good lad, law-abiding?
I wasn't bad. I just sort of, just potted about. I mean, when people talk about what was on the telly back then, I don't have that much memory of it because I was always out. I was always playing out.
What were you doing when you were out?
Just playing about, just like on a bike or...
Just riding in a circle endlessly through
you,
blizzards,
I loved it.
rain, sleet,
Loved it.
hail.
I never seemed to be in. I was always... When everyone always goes, where were you when Band-Aid was happening? I was always out on my bike. And everything was
Like
like...
you and McGregor?
A memory's always sort of like coming in for some orange and looking at the telly and seeing Princess Diana's getting married, and my mum says, have you seen this? And I'm going, oh, I'm going out on my bike. I was always doing that. The only time I was in the house...
This is why you don't know anything, because you never stopped.
Yeah, but this is what being a kid's about.
But
That's
all
what I
the
mean, being
information
free.
you have, Carl, is as though you've gleaned it as you raced by on a bike. It's almost like, every piece of information you have.
Your hair blowing in the wind. Carl, your hair will blow out one day. Oh, don't talk stupid, ma'am.
was easy. So yeah, 12 to 13 was good.
But you see...
And it was all downhill from then, was it?
13, is your teenager then, aren't you? Life got tough.
Yeah. How did it get tough?
Just straight away when I was 13, my mum was like, oh, it's your 13th birthday, you're a teenager now.
Right.
And she gave us a quid to go and get a cake to celebrate it. Went to the supermarket, got a cake, and I just thought, I don't like the look of this. Don't like the look of the way the future is here.
On his 13th birthday.
Well, you were buying a cake. What did you see at the supermarket?
It was kind of like, I don't know, I suddenly felt grown up. I didn't like it.
But I think you were always about 58, really, with your outlook.
Well, yeah, my mum always said I was old. She said I was an old baby. She said I could frown before I could walk. So they always had a bit of a worry look on my face. Didn't say much, just always listened. My eyes moved about more than I did. Just sat there looking around, looking stressed.
My eyes moved about more than I did. Oh dear, couldn't walk. Well, I can't walk, but I'll try and get a bit of movement in my face. It's a workout, a baby workout. Oh, babies, well, if you can't walk, what about your face? Let your face do the walking.
It sounds like that horror film. It sounds like Pilkington's Baby.
Yeah.
Just you lying there in your cot.
I didn't like all the stuff that's set up for you. Like, my mum tried to send me to, a nursery. I said, no, I'm not having this.
Just like that.
I said when I'm older and I've got to go, I'll go, but let's leave out this bit. And she said, all right. She was...
I love the fact he could reason with her. I love him. He's 3 years old with a pipe. She's going, you're going to nurse. She goes, I think not, Mum.
I mean, kids don't play out, do they? Kids, parents are scared to let the kids play out, and that's why the streets are dangerous now, because no one's playing out on the streets. Whereas when I was a kid, everyone was out on the streets. The streets were safer because there was more people knocking about.
Right.
Let the kids play out.
It must be like a constant, like a Larry painting, his front garden, do you know what I mean? Just loads of people just
There was
walking
never
around.
any problems. I was sort of taken away by some fella.
What?
Whoa.
No, I was playing about in the garden.
Yeah,
But my dad's mate, Tony,
yeah.
he did tiling with him. He drove past and he saw me looking a bit fed up, so he just leant over, picked me up, took me to the pub. Now, the thing is, there wasn't panic. People weren't going, oh, God, where's Carl gone?
He's out.
Just
How old were you?
He's down the pub. He's 4 years old, yeah. But he's only having a
He's down the pub with Tony, probably playing darts.
Yeah, I was about 3 or 4.
Sorry, so some bloke drives by who happens to be a friend of your dad's, thinks that baby looks grumpy.
Yeah.
I'm taking him down to
But
the pub.
that's what it was
Tony,
like.
you bringing a baby to the pub? Yeah, I might do. Yeah, we're all bringing ours. All right, see you later, mate.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Whereas now they go, the baby's gone. There's a big full-on panic going
Yeah,
on.
but I think it says more about your parents that they didn't do that. They looked out in the back car and you were gone. Some bloke's driving off in a van. They're just going, oh, well,
We rode down the pub.
doesn't Princess Diana look lovely? This is absurd. So what happened when you got down the pub?
I just was there for a bit, and then
For a bit, just had a game of pool.
then my dad came in. It was like, oh, there you are.
Oh, there you are! I love that! Where's my baby? I'm just going to have a quick pint. Oh, there you are. All right, mate.
So, yeah, I think things were better back then.
Well, it's that time again.
It's Carl's diary.
Oh, what's he written today?
Told Suzanne that I had read that we will have spoken to aliens by the year 2025. Ricky once told me that if a lion could speak English, it still couldn't have a good chat with us because its life is different to ours. If that's true, we've got no chance with an alien. I'd be worried that an alien could read my mind. I had that problem once years ago, when I worked in a studio making cassettes. Some mind-reading woman was having some cassettes made. She waited while I did them. She had a small dog. I knew she was trying to read my mind, so I just thought about the dog. I thought that would confuse her, because she wouldn't understand why I was thinking about her dog.
That's amazing.
So, firstly, how did you know she was a mind-reading woman?
Everybody who came in having cassettes done, you'd find out about what the job is. So, you know, if it's a band or whatever, it might be a police station needing blank cassettes to interview people.
Yeah.
And she had them to sort of use during a thing where they do mind reading and stuff. So
Right.
you get a
recording
of
the...
it.
Yeah.
And she was just there and she was staring at me like that, just looking over. And a dog was sort of looking worried, and they pick up vibes, don't they?
No.
They do.
And why was...
Were they looking... I'm not being funny. Were they looking at the roundness of your head, do you
They
think?
were just looking at me, and I was sort of panicking a bit. And the more that I was thinking she's reading my mind, I was thinking she knows that I know that she's reading my mind. So I just stopped thinking about her reading my mind, thought about the dog
What were you thinking about the dog?
running about on the beach.
He remembers what he was thinking.
No, just so she thought, oh, hang on a minute, it's not his mind, it's the dog's mind I'm picking up.
Oh, so you thought she'd go, oh, no, I'm getting it all tangled up. I've got a cross line here.
I met up with my mate Laurie. He said he was in a pub at the weekend and saw a bloke whose hands were on the wrong arms.
No! What do you mean?
Well, he had his left hand on his right arm and the right hand on the left arm. I don't think this would be a problem if he's been like that from an early age. When I was in Ripley's in LA, I saw a bloke whose head was on back to front.
That's more annoying, innit, than your hands. Innit?
Now then, would you walk? How would you walk? Would you be walking backwards, Carl, so that you could walk? So you're basically walking forwards.
I reckon I'd walk sideways so nobody would sort of tell the difference. It just looked like...
Oh, God! He solved it again! He's thought it through. Oh.
Got home and read my magazine. There was a story about a baby that was born that looked like a frog. What magazine's this?
That made the news. That was in a proper newspaper in the end.
It didn't really have a neck or top half of its head. It would look all right if it always wore a scarf and a hat. The world would be a more interesting place if there were loads of different types of humans like there are creatures. Then some people would be good at certain jobs. Spider people, ant people, builders, cockroach people, dustbin men.
Good idea, isn't it?
I mean,
Cockroach men, spider men, what are you talking about?
Look at some insects, right?
Yeah.
They don't have machinery, yet they're getting by, aren't they? They have their lives like we do. They get up, they wander about, they collect food, they tidy up, they fix stuff, they make their own house. We can't do any of that. So what I'm saying is, why aren't we using them? Why are these cockroaches with all these powers and stuff
Powers?
going about?
It's all these
But
powers.
how could we use them? How could we harness them?
Just told you, dustbin men. Or whatever that
No,
what
you
do mean?
said that if they were also men, if they were cockroach men, we could use them.
You've left a big bit out, but when that 1-inch cockroach becomes a 6-foot bloke wearing a jacket,
It's just that we always use insects for like a bit of fun. You see flea circuses and all that, which is all very well, but I don't think it's getting the most out of them.
Woke up at 9:55 a.m. Soon as I woke up, I looked at Suzanne and she looked at me. I said, "Did I tell you about the immune system?" Suzanne started laughing. I said, it's amazing. She said, not now.
Oh God! I was thinking that.
Springing into action, he zips up, his eyes are like... Did I tell you about the immune system? Oh, shut up, Carl. Put the kettle on.
Oh God! Oh fucking hell! Carl, let's give him a list. Top 5 something. What are you interested in? Are you interested in news, sport, TV, cars, movies, style?
I mean, I'm into weird stuff, but it seems a bit tight to stick them in a list.
What, like what?
Well, like, you know, sort of freaky people and that. I've got that freak book. But I don't know if they'd be happy if I called one of them up and said, good news, you're at number 1 because you've got 4 legs or whatever. I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, then this is the Carl Pilkington top 5 freaks in at number 5.
Probably something not too good at number 5, but it's still interesting. Lighthouse Man.
Who's that?
Lighthouse Man?
What's Lighthouse Man?
It's a fella with a hole in his head. And he, what he does, rather than moan about it, sticks a candle in it.
Shut up. What are you talking about?
Sticks a candle
What are
in
you
it.
talking about? Where is the hole?
I bet he didn't call himself Lighthouse Man, did he?
Well, I don't know. It's just what he got nicknamed because he had this hole. Doctors were like, "There's nothing we can do. Can't fill it." Thought, what can I do with it? And it was of the days when there was no electric and that. You had to walk about with a candle. Just thought, hang on a minute.
I can have both
Got a
hands
little
for
candle
you.
holder here. Stuck a candle in it. He just got nicknamed the Lighthouse Man. So again, it's not that amazing, but I like the way he was sort of energy efficient.
So was it in his forehead?
No, on the very top of his head.
That's perfect. You don't want it in the forehead, Steve. You'd have to walk back with
That'd
your
be
neck
ridiculous.
cricked.
So he was like a kind of human jack-o'-lantern.
He's a Lighthouse Man. What did Steve? What
Sorry, mate. Yeah, I
better
forgot
description
about
do you
that.
need than the Lighthouse Man?
So yeah, he's probably at number 5.
Wow, that's at number 5, Steve.
Number 4.
What about pig-faced woman of Manchester Square?
Again, you're getting what it says in the tin there, aren't you?
Right.
And it's just this woman who had a face like a pig. And the rumour was
Yeah.
that it wasn't a woman. Someone said it was a pet bear and they'd shaved it. That's what that's what
Was
I've
this
heard.
someone? Was this someone you saw? Or
No,
that you
no,
just read about?
this is going back.
This is years ago.
This is years and years ago.
Yeah.
When there was loads of like weird looking people. I mean, the fact that it's pig-faced woman of Manchester Square
Yeah.
says that there might have been one in
Piccadilly Circus.
yeah, whatever. So there was a lot more of them knocking about back then.
Let's assume that it was a woman, and the first one, the Lighthouse fellow, he's a human. Do you think people would object because of their disfigurement, deformity, like being called freaks? Do you think?
Well, it gave them a purpose back then. See, if you were a freak years ago, there was work for you. You'd have these circus things. Now, if you've got a funny head, you're on the dole.
Number 3.
What about Elephant Man?
Right.
Stick him at number 3. He's
Number 3.
He's surely the most famous freak ever to have lived, isn't he?
He's the one who got me into it.
Right. Yeah. Sure. He's a sort of entry-level freak.
Yeah.
A gateway freak.
Everyone is aware of him.
If the Elephant Man still existed, right, and you got the opportunity to meet him, and you walked in, a couple of questions. 1, what would your first reaction be? And 2, what would you say to him? What would your first question be?
How would I react? Well, I've sort of seen him enough now that it wouldn't shock me. So I don't even think I'd flinch.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, when I first saw you, that was a bit weird. But now look, I can look at you. I don't double take or anything. What would I say to him though? What? I'd probably say, where do you get that hat to fit you? He always had that on. Where do you get that from?
That sort of flat cap that he's got.
Yeah, that on, didn't he? So yeah, I'd have him. So he's at number 3.
Right. Elephant Man number 3. I can't wait for 2 and
yeah.
1. Right. Okay. Number
Well, I know
2.
what my number 1 is. It's just number 2 now. I don't know his name, but there's a fella knocking about. Well, I don't think he's around anymore. But he had like a normal body. Looking at him, you'd go, "What's up with him? He's not a freak." Takes his undies off. He's got 2 knobs.
Right.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, he doesn't know where to start. Do you
don't
think
know.
he uses them alternately, like either way out of this one, either way out of that one, or does he just like spread the load so he's weeing out of both?
I don't think he knows.
What do you
I think
mean he
it's
doesn't
sort of
know?
like a lucky dip. When he goes to a urinal,
Yeah.
he can have a little bet with himself. He's just like, I don't know what's going to happen here.
So do you reckon he holds them
Holds
both
them
out?
out, definitely.
So he takes his trousers down because I mean, you know,
Yeah, he can't use a Y front.
right?
It'd be,
Need more like a W front.
Yeah. So he pops his keks down there.
I don't think it's that much of a problem. It's not like...
Well... I don't know.
I'd prefer that than Elephant Man's head.
Well, of course you would.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
What if you had Elephant Man's knob?
Yeah, but it didn't work like that, did it? That's the thing. They said he had the body of an elephant, but that's the only thing that wasn't of an elephant standard. His knob was normal. Whereas with this fella, it's the other way around. Everything normal. Take the pants off. Oh, well, what's going on here?
But why would you ever take his pants off?
No, I wouldn't. I'm just saying if...
But why? I don't know why you'd be in a situation with this man with two knobs standing there with his pants on and you go pop your pants off. You're not a doctor.
No, say if I'm waiting in a cubicle and he's there.
For what?
Sorry, you're waiting in the cubicle and he comes in?
I'm waiting to have a wee at a cubicle. He's
in the
taking
toilet.
2 urinals up and going,
Right.
hang on, you don't need them both, do you? He goes, well, actually,
Oh, and then
have a look at this.
Right.
He's got 2 knobs.
See, I didn't see him at 2 urinals. I saw him at 1, maybe them pointing inwards.
If you had that, say the first time that you met Suzanne, would you mention that straight up?
Would you say, right, before this goes any further, I've got something to show you?
Well, let's see. Tell me exactly what you would say.
You had normal head then, didn't you?
I had the same head, yeah.
Yeah, but it had, like, hair coming out of it, didn't it? And sort of like...
Yeah, but she also had a smaller arse back then as well, so I think we've both been dumb.
Anyway, we need to get to number 1.
Yeah, number 1.
Okay, it is.
It's Pillow Man.
Oh, yeah.
Pillow Man. Okay, now explain for those that don't know who he was.
He's a fella with no arms and legs, just a head and a little body. Nickname Pillow Man.
Well, why is he your favourite?
Just because he's amazing. Just the way he just got on with his life. He used to light a cig, just using his lips and his tongue and that.
Oh, I've
And
seen
not
this.
fully
It's
lit. He'd buy Roll Your Own.
Yeah, it's in the film Freaks, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he
He had a
rolls
shave
it.
as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
How did he
Do you
have a
think
shave?
he used to do it? He used to get it in his mouth, and I don't know.
Jesus.
It's amazing. Did he have a knob?
I think he did because he had some kids.
What?
Yeah, he had kids. He was an all right looking fella. He wasn't odd looking. It's just that
sorry?
he looked like Samuel L. Jackson. Imagine him with no arms and legs.
Right, that's odd though, isn't it? Really?
It's weird, but you've got to give it to him. You know, I mean, he's there rolling his own. He's pretty cool looking.
I just want to say to people, it's no. You say it looks cool, to, with no arms, no legs to smoke, but don't forget that smoking can stunt your growth.
Yeah, but yeah, remember he was on like this circus freak show thing with like a bearded woman,
Yeah.
right? Which isn't really a freak, is it? She could have had a shave. Have a shave, you're not a freak anymore.
Yeah.
A bearded woman compared to a fella who's got no arms and legs. A bearded woman, get out. But there was like a fella with no bottom half to his body, called Johnny Eck was his name. So when you're knocking about with that crowd, you're gonna get a bit. You're gonna get a bit. So yeah, he had kids and they were all normal kids. They had all the limbs.
Did his
and
wife
everything.
had arms and legs?
Never saw his wife.
Never saw his wife.
I think
He was probably ashamed of her. She was a bit of a freak.
for someone like him, you'd think he'd just give up, wouldn't you? You think, forget it. What sort of life is it?
Yeah.
I'm like a Mexican jumping bean. It's not worth living. But he just got on with it. To have a shave, I don't even bother having a shave some days.
No. Nor did the bearded lady. Lazy fucking bitch.
So that's why I've put him at my number 1 position. It's just amazing, isn't it? The human, how whatever you dealt, some people just get on with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Pillow Man, or Draft Excluder, as I prefer to call him.
There you go. Oh. Now, me and Steve are a couple of big shots. We do this for a laugh, but this is Carl Pilkington's only source of income. This is what you do now, isn't it?
This is my full-time job, yeah.
What do you think of that? Is
It
this
depresses me.
Why?
This isn't what I ever wanted. Because I haven't got a purpose, have I? I'm sat here talking about the Pillow Man. If it weren't for him, I'd have nothing to say. It just depresses me. That I just wish I had a job where I felt like I was needed. And I don't feel needed. It's not a proper job.
We need you.
We
need you for money for old rope.
I know, but this isn't. I wanted something that when you die and that, it's you get up to the gates, whatever, and they say, "What have you done?" And then I'm looking worried, thinking, "Is the Pillow Man about?"